do I still hear that? Oh, that's why. How's it going, y'all? Happy day. Happy day. It's a happy day. It's Thursday. Today's stream is called The Future of Religion in America. It's very relevant. As you know, we're in a constant ideological war. Any political war is essentially an ideological war, and if we really look at it, any ideological war ends up being a type of religious war. There's no escaping it. There's no escaping, no matter what view you think you have, especially you secular or atheists out there. You think you have some sort of ethical, political view absent some notion of religion, and I'm not saying God, a specific named God where you go to a place and worship, but religious belief itself. There's no escaping that you believe there's a future that could be better. You believe there's something called the good or the common good. You hold some axiom that humans have some sort of value. You believe that you're fighting for truth and fairness and equality and whatever the platitudes you want to add in. It is religious thinking. And so when we look at the future, right now we're sort of looking away from what hasn't worked up until now. And I'd argue, along with many others of my peer and even those who are above me in the ranking, that classical liberalism, what I call the Enlightenment crop dust, the Enlightenment Dutch oven has now run out of steam. So people are looking elsewhere. So you get all of these topics. I just saw Sam Harris. I don't know how he's popular or anyone's listening to him. I tried to even watch some because I wanted to maybe review it. He was so boring and dead inside that I couldn't even get through it myself. So I will not do that to you. You're welcome. But he was talking about the future. You know, why people are turning to religion again. Again. What do you mean again? You never got rid of it, bro. You thought you got rid of it. You thought you did, but you didn't get rid of anything. In fact, whatever you ushered in, some materialist, pure consumer, individualism crap, some Ayn Randian bullshit. What an ugly goblin she was. Didn't work for people. Feminism doesn't work. None of it's working. It's not sustainable. It's not cohesive. It doesn't bind people together in a way where they go, we're going to defend this thing we called a nation. We're going to defend this thing called our civilization. We are going to defend our way of life. Well, individualism results in my way of life. Oh, your way of life? Oh, yeah, you have your way of life, and I have my way of life, and they have they way of life, and Zer has Zer way of life. There's no we. What is this we? If you look at any other nation that's made it through tough times, war, subversion, it's their collective fabric. It's the sense of we, not I. Now, this gets perverted, of course, because commies and socialists kind of run on this idea of there's a greater we and we need to do stuff for the greater we, but they don't have a philosophy. It's all materialism. It's all consumerism. It's all resources. You deserve those, and then they deserve this, and you deserve a part of that because you're labor. Who owns the labor? It's like, it's just the world. They're just talking about the world itself. They're not talking about a practice, a spiritual practice. They're not talking about something that you would maintain in the absence of food, in the absence of bread and water and elevators and air conditioning and YouTube. They don't have any of that. It's pure luxury. So when we ask the question, what's the future of religion in America? From anything that's not Christianity, it's going to be some form of accommodations. It's all going to be accommodations. Well-being, that's accommodations. Amenities. Where people can live, what they can eat, what you deserve to get, this kind of stuff. And so we're going to review something. It's going to be interesting because something made 1 year ago on YouTube, the movement of, let's say, the Overton window, which I actually don't know how much that applies, like equally in every direction. But for the sake of just viewing it through that lens, a lot could be revealed in a year. So I saw this clip of an atheist channel talking about the future of religion. And I didn't watch any of it, so you're going to get a live react with you. We're going to all live react together. But the future of religion has been adequately summarized way before all of this extreme, I would say, hyper-modernity, hyper-decadence. The religion of the future, well-known book within Orthodoxy that explains that any notion away from Christianity is some notion toward some inversion of Christianity. It's always flipped. It's always going to be flipped. There's always going to be something about it. Something about it's going to be pseudo-sacramental. Something about it's going to be a congregation. Something's going to be Episcopal about it. Something's going to be, I would even say, a perverted Eucharistic aspect to it. It's going to be a new tradition. And by the way, all of the schismatics and the heterodox branches, if you will, lifeless branches of Christianity, are also types of innovations and new traditions. And they're ironically always arguing away from tradition. Well, nobody gets away from tradition. Nobody. There's a paradox, just like the anarchist paradox, which is, we don't need no authority. We're going to keep it that way. And you go, who's going to keep it that way? You know what I mean? Who's going to keep it that way? Oh, the new authority, right? Same thing with tradition. We're not doing tradition. We're going to do this thing. You just need the Bible, and we just need this, and that's it. You just need secularism. You just need the secular manifesto. You just need... They're always going to present something that ultimately they're going to advocate the transference of that knowledge and wisdom and practice to the next generation. Well, you can't really compete with established religions. So this new religion, whatever it be, doesn't have a duty to reproduce. You guys are done already. Right off the bat, you're done. You can't compete with long-lasting religions that in their very foundation is embedded in it an obligation to reproduce if you can. They don't have it, right? So I don't know what it's going to sound like, you guys. But before we get into that, because that's a little more deeper, I saw a clip of Jordan B. Peterson, who apparently, I don't know if it was pre-recorded or he crawled out of his sarcophagus to talk to homosexual conservative Dave Rubenstein, who's going to talk about his husband. And we're looking at the insanity, right? We're looking at a group of people who call themselves conservatives who are actually just classical liberals. And they're presenting themselves as the sane ones. And those other yellow, blue-haired people are the insane ones. And we're going to fight them. Those crazies. And yet in the same breath, they're celebrating, buying, purchasing, trafficking a child out of the womb of some mother who gives her child away and calls it virtuous. I mean, can you imagine what that's like for a woman? Literally grow your child inside of your body, extract it, and give it away like you're trading a guitar on Facebook Marketplace. And you have to convince yourself that this child in their new environment being motherless right from the get-go, motherless. Now, that really hits home for me because, shout out to Meg Bob and the mothers. You fathers out there know that early stage of childhood, it's fairly established that later, 5 years old, 6, 7, 8, then the father is a little more integral, sort of, as like a guiding force. But up until then, the mom, it's all mom. And thank God, and God bless them all. But you rip that away from people, and you call it what? What do you call it? That's conservative? Fag. And then people defend it. They cheer it on, remember? They posted their little babies, right? Whose womb was that? It was not yours. It was not inside your male stomach, Dave and Dave. They have to lie to themselves. They have to call it good. They're, I'm conservative. I like smaller government. What do you guys? What is two dads in the? That's good. That's conserving something. Two dads. That's conserving something. Yeah, we're a small government, so we're conservative. No one's buying this crap anymore. So we're gonna look at Peterson here, trying to make sense of it all. And you'd think Peterson would be the one to push back, but they're all just such weaklings. They all just dance around and cross their legs and read their books and, there's no bulldogs in this arena. There's no one with sharp teeth. And they don't let them in the room of Daily Wire. You know what I mean? If anything, it's Matt Walsh who's about to just explode, right? Matt Walsh is about to lose it. All right, let's take a look at these insane people who call themselves conservative or on the right side of things, or those crazy left-wingers. We got to fight them. See what we got here.
Children who are breastfed do better.
Yep.
I believe that 1 year of breastfeeding is equivalent to, I think breastfed kids have a 5-point IQ advantage, and 1 point IQ is worth 1 year of education.
I have
basically.
2 freezers in my garage, 2 industrial freezers full of...
I have got 2 freezers. I did a workaround. I did a Jewish trick so the baby doesn't realize his mommy's gone. And the good thing is, my husband, David, has very long nipples.
Can you imagine that's your comeback? I have a freezer, and I took the milk from the real mom or some mom out there, and I have got 2 freezers just for that reason. I fixed it with a workaround. What do you know? What do you know? I fixed it with a workaround. A workaround. You didn't notice. The baby didn't notice. Got him. I mean, look at this delusional, this goblin. I got that covered, Jordan. I've got frozen milk. You think it's just the milk? Do you really think it's just the milk? These people are sick. What did I say? It all comes down to materialism. Notice nothing about the bonding that happens between the mother. You've seen it, fathers, mothers. You've seen it in your own house. The looking in the eye of that baby into the mother's eye while they're breastfeeding. Something you could never replace for the mother, especially.
These guys are like, don't worry, I got a freezer. And you know what? You know what, Jordan? I also printed a photograph of the real mother, and I scotch tape it to my face. And I poke little holes in the eyes. So the baby's not only getting the real milk, but she's also getting a printed imprint of the face of the real mother.
These people should be kicked out of society. And who are these mothers giving your children away to homosexuals? Who are you? Where are you? Is this feminism? This is what you call feminism? Don't objectify me. I'm a powerful woman. By the way, can I use your womb and buy your child from you? I'm disgusted.
Breast milk.
Right,
That's
right.
Who,
So-
David
so-
has done all the research on this.
Right.
My Davy boy has done all the research on this.
So another complication, but okay. And so, but roughly speaking, women tend to do the nurturing thing more and men do the encouraging thing more. So now the question is, how do you mediate? How do you manage to fulfill both those roles in the absence of a heterosexual arrangement?
Now,
Yes.
you know David pretty well, and we've been out to dinner with Tammy many times.
Yeah.
And you know him. He is incredibly warm and nurturing and loving.
He's not a man, you freak show. I mean, he's not a woman. He's not a mother, you freak. He's very soft, and he shaves his arms, and he's got puffy nipples, and he's got the whole works. I mean, you would think, wow, he's almost a woman. No. What kind of cope is this, dude? Look at him. Look at him lying. Look at his eyeballs. Look at how much he has to work. Instead of just going, you know what, you're right. This is some sort of perversion of a true system of a family. You know what? It's inadequate, probably. I hope it works out, but it's inadequate.
Oh, you met David. He's really soft, and he drinks martinis, and and you ever see him cross his legs and read a book? It's amazing. It's so womanly. It's like, wow, that's like a mom. Like, yeah, he's got a knitting set, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but he's got a knitting set, and he also likes true crime. I mean, he's obsessed with it. He loves murder shows, just like women do. I don't know if you've met him. You went to dinner. He's so soft. He never pays the bill. You know, I opened the door for him. He's just so soft. And how about those long, puffy nipples? Have you seen them? No, I've not seen your husband's nips.
What a cope.
And deeply cares about all those things. And I'm telling you, he is reading about skin-to-skin contact every day.
Yeah.
He is just, that baby is just smushed against his shaved chest that has stubble on it. What is Jordan Peterson? Yep. Smush the baby against the stranger. That's right. Get the fullness of the skin-to-skin contact with the masculine stranger.
And all of the breast milk stuff and everything. And I know he will have a huge percentage of the stuff that a mother would bring. But I also...
What are you talking about? You're a liar, Jordan Peterson. What the hell's wrong with you, dude? What do you mean a huge portion? You got the breast milk from another person, so you don't have that. Your skin is soft, and you're warm. You're a warm, nice person. Excuse me? This enrages me. The lies they have to say. The lies. This is just like the trans stuff, ironically, where they're just like, yeah, well, no. A man can't be a woman. And okay, he's arguing now, right? He would admit a man can't be a woman. Oh, those crazy leftists. They're nuts. They're complete nut jobs. And then in this conversation, he's still trying to obfuscate, try to make it nebulous, sort of like there's a blurred line. If a guy is motherly-ish, he can be the mom. No. I don't care how soft your skin is, dude. What a cope.
would bring. But I also know it's not all of it.
No, listen to what he said. And why is Jordan Peterson saying yes and right? You lying scumbag.
That a mother would bring. But I also know it's not all.
Listen.
A huge percentage of the stuff that a mother would bring. But
No, Dave Rubenstein. Your husband doesn't bring a huge percentage of what the mother would bring. The biggest of which is, it's the real mom. Second, it's the nature of a woman, which is not the nature of your soft, gay husband. No milk. No connection. Your husband cannot replace the nurturing nature of a woman because he's not a woman. Whatever you think he's doing and pretending he's doing, whether he has soft little Uggs on, okay? You cannot say a huge percentage.
I also know it's not all of it. And we thought we could take some of my sister's eggs, and she's a mother now. She's actually pregnant with her third. But that we could get her eggs, and then we would take David's sperm, and then we would have 2 children from that.
What an abomination. What an abomination. My husband basically had sex with my sister. You fucking freak shows. No wonder you guys get kicked out of so many countries. So here's the deal. I'm going to have my sister impregnated by my husband. And, that works out, So, my sister looks like me a little bit. So it's kind of like he's having sex with me, but it's my sister. And then my sister has another kid. And then my sister comes over for Thanksgiving. And secretly she's like, oh, that's my kid. But it's like, no, I'm not your mother. Your mother doesn't exist. But I am your mother. I do exist. And then, it gets weird because, that baby wants to do more connected interactions with me because she's the mother. It's complicated, but it works. It works. These fucking people. Fucking freaks. Jordan Peterson, you are such a fucking coward. Excuse my language. This gets me so mad. Jordan Peterson, you freaking weak worm. You might as well be in a coffin, dude. You're dead. You died. You got nothing left, dude. You're pathetic. You have no fight in you. You're just sitting there taking this. Right? You made your way, Jordan Peterson, in this time where people are asking you to reject truth. And you're fighting for truth, and it gets you up on a large stage, right? Gets you super famous, super wealthy, super influential. All to lead to this conversation where you're like, yep, just get your sister pregnant and pretend it's your kid. Yep, makes sense. No pushback. These people, man.
After a long time of talking, about a year debating that back and forth and going through all that, there were a lot of ethical and moral issues, and my sister then would...
There's moral issues, but because we have the Talmudic tradition, which you could always argue every angle of something could be a different angle of truth, and, you just kind of negotiate with God, and then you leave him out of it, you do your best, and you make a contract, and so it's all good. My sister is having my baby. My sister's having my husband's baby.
Sort of would be the biological mother of my children. I mean, there were all sorts of things that we were about to traverse.
Right, and that's all uncharted territory, right?
The average person who was protesting at Stonewall, if you would have said to them, the average person that was 35 years old that was at a bar at Stonewall, I want to be able to go to a bar that has windows maybe that aren't blocked out, that isn't underground, and all of these things, and be in a relationship that I don't have to hide or whatever.
It's not a relationship, bro. Hey, Dave Rubin, this is what Jordan Peterson should ask you if he wasn't such a ghoul. What's the difference between a brotherly loving relationship and a homosexual relationship, as you refer to it, a relationship, right? That you're hiding in the windows, right? He's like, oh, we made it so much. I mean, we used to have to hide all of this stuff, but now we've come so far. Who knew that we would go from hiding our sin in the darkness of San Francisco nightclubs with blocked out windows to being able to rent a womb? I mean, we've come so far.
Actually, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, this is going to be about sending your kid to school where they're going to privately discuss sex with teachers.
Yeah? What about your kids? When they look at you and they go, wait a second, eventually they're going to figure out what you guys are. You know what I mean? They're going to have to try to understand what your physical relationship is. You know what I mean? They see it, right? You show it. You show it. They have to figure that out. What? Wait, what? How come? Wait, how? Wait, I don't understand. Where did I come from? You came from my sister. Wait, I came from my aunt? Your aunt's your mom. What? Yeah, your aunt is your mom. Wait a second. Hold on a second. Wait, so if you need a mommy and a daddy to have a me, what? Wait, so what are you guys if you're not that? We're gay guys. We don't make anything. We take. We don't make. We take. That's what we do. We take, they make. They're makers, we're takers. And my husband is your dad, okay? It's hard. It's hard. Okay. Your aunt is your mom, and my husband is your dad. Who are you? I'm your dad's husband. I thought he's the husband. No, we're both husbands. Okay, hold on. Start from the back. Stop. Your Aunt Susan is your mom. Your real dad is my husband. Wait, what? Why do we need you then? Well, I'm the gay guy. Wait, who are you? I'm your dad. No, you're not. You just said he's my dad, and she's my mom. My aunt's my mom, and that's my dad. What are you doing here? I'm the gay guy. I'm the other gay guy. Well, how are you relevant to this situation? Butt sex. We do that. Wait a second. So you guys can't make me? No, you need your mom for that. You mean my aunt? Yeah, you know what I mean.
They would never believe it.
This is how serial killers are born? Yeah, it is actually. That's not even hyperbolic, Susanna, as you know.
Hormonal transformation and surgery.
That I think had the world not shifted to be a little bit kinder, had I not maybe been on tour with you and come to some of these realizations or found someone in the world that I wanted to put their needs above my own, that I could have been left to a life that would have been sort of purely narcissistic.
Oh, yeah. You think, what is your life now, bro? You sick bastard. Yeah, dude, I hate these people so much. Pray for me. I hate these people. This is classical liberalism for you. Yeah, this is Jay's post, who's been ranting against classical liberalism for 15 plus years, rightly so, and finally people are catching up a little bit. But this is so disturbing. This is coming from the Daily Wire, people. The Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, promoting this. It's not like he sat down with Peterson and was like, listen.
Dave Rubin is a disgusting freak. 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 Dave Rubin is a disgusting freak.
Nice. I agree with you, Vagine. So yeah, it's not like Ben Shapiro sat him down and was like, listen, Jordy, I'm glad you crawled out of your sarcophagus and you're doing okay. I thought you were going to die there. Which we would have just turned into some sort of death ritual sacrifice anyway. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. So Dave's coming on. He's going to discuss his little venture of having children. Be nice to him. This is a Daily Wire. So we don't want any infighting. Maybe push back a little bit, but don't be aggressive. Again, what we're doing is we're saving conservatism in the West. We're saving it. And the reason we're so much better than those Islamicists, those terrible people, is that we allow and we celebrate two dads. This is why these people are so full of it. They don't care about truth or what's good. They're all just in low-tier political dialectic. That's it. Left-right politics. Ben Shapiro doesn't care. He thinks he can just hold his private views, that's, it's great you have a religious view and you have really strong opinions about all this stuff. But also, let's put up Dave Rubin. You know what I mean? Let's put him up on there. I almost want to see more of it. It actually might be a better stream if I do that. It was originally the future of a religion, but it's still relative. It's still related, isn't it? Because if the future of conservatism and people who call themselves religious or lowercase Christian, I would call them, and they're saying they're conservative, if they see this and they don't barf and gag, if they saw that clip and didn't barf and gag, what game are they playing, honestly? What are they even playing? They're playing a game of liberalism. Two dads, limited government. Based? No. And I don't know. I didn't see the rest of it, but maybe Jordan Peterson pushed back a little more. I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, the kind of reaction you should have is the kind of reaction you just saw in me. Disgust, rage. Jordan Peterson is dead. You're dead inside, Jordan Peterson. You're a ghoul. You've got no life left. You don't have a fight for truth. You're afraid. You're cowardly. You're shivering. You're a mess. And he's the leader of whatever tribe this is, the Daily Wire tribe, holding on dear life to the last thin thread of classical liberalism, the dingleberry of the Enlightenment, the last dingleberry. And this is what you have to do. You have to defend this stuff. Instead of having a visceral reaction that the public can see you have, Jordan Peterson doesn't have. This is what psychology does to you, by the way. You know what I mean? You hear and see something so volatile and so disgusting and such an abomination, and you train yourself to intellectualize your way through it. Put aside your visceral, spiritual reaction to it, reaction to evil. If you train yourself to not have a reaction to evil, that's not a good practice. That is not a good practice, to be numb to evil, to be numb to inversion, to be numb to upside down world. And I know it's hard. We all live in it. It's all around us. We see it all the time. We just become so used to it. But that's why you maintain your faith. That's why you go to church. That's why you attend liturgy and participate. That's why you get baptized. That's why you fold yourself into the church. Because if you maintain your practice and you maintain the mind of the church, the mind of participating in Christ, that sensitivity to evil actually goes up. And you go, well, Jim Bob, I don't want that. I like being numb to it. I like it. I don't have to deal with it. No, it's the other way around. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Megan and I also noticed this. The more we practice, not just since inquiry it showed up, but like certainly post-baptism, regular practice, regular attending, regular consuming of God, the sensitivity and the noticing of evil and inversion in TV and in all sorts of things, every crevice you start to see it. It's like, it's like a color that you didn't see so well before. You know what I mean? You didn't have the best name for it. You didn't have the best framework. You didn't have the best binoculars or magnifying glass for it. And then you start to see it. But then you look at people who are not in practice, like Jordan Peterson, who strictly go Jungian, philosophical, heuristic approach. Everything's like, well, let's figure this out. let's look at it from this view. Let's use some psychological framework and summary to, figure this out. And you're like, dude, you're speaking from a numbness position. Numb. You're numb. You're dead. Well, let's figure it out. Let's get it on paper. Let's figure out whether Dave's husband could be soft enough to fool the child into thinking he's a mummy. Maybe he can lighten his voice a little bit. Hello, little baby, hello. And Dave Rubin's like, yeah, that's actually great. He has it's funny, in the house, he calls it the mommy voice. It's great. He does a mommy voice. And what's cool is that we downloaded the real mother's voice and we got AI to reproduce it. So if the baby's crying and both men can't soothe the baby, what we do is we play the AI voice of the real mother, and works like a charm. Another trick in the books. Oi, 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 oi. Now, okay. So if that clip doesn't show you the future, a peek into the future of why religious belief, the battle of ideology, comes down to, well, how do you ground ideology? Like, even if you don't ground it in God, you're going to find like-minded people who share your ideology, and you're going to influence society with your collective ideology through voting, through participation, through pushing against things, through local voting, through coercion, even to some extent, through persuasion, through propaganda, through tradition. And it's a war. The tradition, it's official, the tradition of classical liberalism is dead. So all these people coping and still trying to keep it together as if it's not a puzzle that's been submerged in acidic water for weeks. You have nothing. There's nothing you can preserve from a classical liberal viewpoint, okay? So you can try to do it, Daily Wire. You could try to keep it together. It's not going to happen. What's happening now is there's a vacuum opening. The vacuum is classical liberalism took up space, displacement, right? And it withered away, and now there's a little block missing. And the Muslims, for all of you secularists who are worried about Christian nationalism, consider this. If the alternative, let's say it's not even a true dilemma, but the most obvious near dilemma, let's say, just to be charitable. You're going to be up against Islam. For you guys in the chat, you secularists who are all afraid of Christianity, oh, it's so bad and they hate women. Okay. The vacuum that's happening right now, where classical liberalism is failing, secularism and classical liberalism, they can't provide a foundation for civilization. They can't do it. And so there's a pocket now. What's filling the pocket is this competition between Christianity and Islam. I would say even the Hindus coming in, not as fierce, let's say, as competitors. So think about that, secularists. If you're constantly railing against Christianity, trying to get people to abandon it in your argumentation, calling it this, calling it that, the alternative that you seem to not have a handle on is this massive increase of Islam. Now, take Dearborn, Michigan, if you're a secularist, look at it and say, do I want that America? If Christianity is the only foundational view and practice that could actually combat Islam, would you accept it? I'm not even asking, would you believe it? I'm asking, would you accept it? Would you advocate for it? You're going to have to think about this, atheists. I know you're not usually thinking about this. You're thinking about liberty and respecting everybody's rights and dude, I'm telling you. That view is a catfish. The whole liberal project is some type of catfish, because what it involves and allows is the growth of cultures that could undermine the thing that you're valuing anyway. So the question is, if your liberty is going to be undermined, would you rather it undermined and maintained by Christian ethics or by Islamic ethics? Fair question. And some of you are honest. I mean, I've met many honest, not fully honest, obviously, but atheists. Pine Creek Doug is, I don't know where he went, but he was one who just quickly, easily, I don't even know if it was controversial. He'd be like, yeah, when it comes down to it, not only would I rather live among and under a Christian ethical system, even though I don't believe in any of it, right? I'd rather live in a Christian society governed by Christian ethics than secular, he said, rather than secular people. Now, obviously the question of like, okay, well, if you'd rather Christian ethics rule than secular ethics, certainly introducing Islamic ethics and practice and tradition into the mix, the answer is pretty simple. But the atheists don't see it they don't see it. I don't know what it is. They don't see like a larger timeline. They see a day-to-day timeline. They see my liberty, what I want, my needs, my computer, my laptop, my moisturizing cream, my tissues. What I want. They're not thinking in terms of like long-term what's going on, because they don't think in terms of family. They don't think in terms of generation. They don't think in terms of tradition. They think in terms of, you have one life to live, go get it, girl, and then die. They have no concept of like your life and legacy would be left to those under you that you reproduced. Now, most of the atheists aren't reproducing either. So, Anyway, let's get into this other video because I honestly, if I see more of Dave Rubin, I'm just going to get really angry. And so, in the meantime, let's catch up with my 12 chats and answer some questions from your guys' side before I start throwing things. You know what I mean? I might just start throwing things. All right. What do we got here? One gifted membership from GB Squickset. Thank you so much for that. Super chat from Colonel. Doesn't materialism, physicalism play a huge part in their nihilistic and anti-natalist black hole of worldview? Seems both are somehow connected. Yes. Ultimately, if all that exists is matter, and ultimately life is accidental, and life just, is a happenstance position where it's like it just emerged somehow, and I don't know how, but it did. That's purposeless. Why? Because your origin story is tied to your telos, your purpose story. You can't separate them. If your origin story is purposelessness and accidentalism, whatever notion of you that you craft for purpose and direction is merely an illusion. It's not real. It's not objective. It's not tied to the origin. It's just temporary commentary. So yeah, those things are all connected, Colonel, for sure. If naturalism is true, if materialism is the case, things like purpose, direction, meaning, value, even truth itself is completely impossible from that view. It's like, it's just matter in motion, $10 from Austin, kind of off topic, but Christian Mario destroyed Jacob Hansen as Mormon epistemology. Yeah, he did. I listened to a bunch of it. The problem with Jacob Hansen is he's a time waster. He's a sophist and a time waster. He doesn't want to get into the actual claims of Mormonism. He just wants to masturbate philosophically with people in a room about general epistemology. But that guy's a waste of time. Honestly, I learned that lesson. He's a waste of time. $5. Thank you. The name's Craig. Son, the family tree is a wreath, right? $5 super chat from Contemporary Compendium. I want the ancient church fathers to speak on this perversion. You know, they'd go scorched earth. Yeah. Suzanne Griffith, $5. Oh, hold on. Vagine's got something to say. Why we all have to stop.
The statement, a system's purpose is what it does. Is this in alignment with orthodoxy? If you were given an apple seed and it grew into a tree that gave pears, you'd have to call it a pear tree, wouldn't you?
Yeah, a system. Well, I would say like a thing's purpose is tied to its function. A thing's nature is tied to its purpose and function. And so when you look at what a thing is, you do include what a thing does, and you also separate it from another thing that doesn't do that. And so you start to isolate what, these types of things. Yeah, I would say yes. It's a teleological question is inextricably tied to an ontological question. And the beauty of orthodoxy, which is why it's argued from a paradigm level, is that it's all-encompassing. You don't just argue a portion of a philosophy. You have to argue the wholeness of it. So, for example, atheists, there's probably many in the chat, they think they can argue epistemology without assuming a bunch of metaphysical statements. And then they're like, I'm not talking about metaphysics, I'm talking about epistemology. They're all connected. So similarly, yeah, the answer is yes. But one thing I'd push back on, the nature of being human would include free will. So not that you said that in the comment, but it's important to realize that like there are some things that are created in nature that just do what they do. There's no will in the matter of an avocado. It's just there's an aspect, let's say, of the mechanistic world where things just follow their path. But humans, from a Christian view, and I would say some animals, probably some gradient where they have a type of will, there is intent. And so humans are peculiar is that we have the capacity to push against what seems to be our natural unfolding biology. So our animalistic urges, we have the ability to argue against them, will ourselves against those things. So we're not deterministic, whereas, a tomato plant would be a fairly deterministic, at least from a temporal lens, where you're just looking at it do its thing. It's just doing its thing. Anyway, good question. The conversation is despicable. Yeah, my blood was boiling. I hate it. These people are disgusting. They're not helping you. They're not conservative. They're not Christian. They're not helping anybody. They're just liberals. They're just liberals who like smaller government. Darth Grumpy says, I'm surprised it took you this long to discover this video. This came out like a year ago. I thought I recognized it, but it seemed new. That's why I was like, why is Jordan Peterson out of his sarcophagus? It's also when I completely quit watching both of these two people. Thank God I found Ortho Bros content. That's awesome, Darth. $5 from Just Half Black Justin. I half believe they 3D printed copies of the mom's nibs. I wish I didn't just give out the best and most degenerate sales idea since Gamer Girl bathwater. Yeah. Well, Jason McGinney, $5. Don't worry, I figured out how to simulate breastfeeding. Yeah, why not just dress up in a suit, Dave Rubin? $5, Wi-Fi Gospel. Freezers full of breast milk would make a great band name. That's true. Schweitz, $5. Like the stream, y'all. Yeah, I definitely like the stream, y'all. H. Brazi, 5 gifted memberships from Matthew Cook. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. $10 from H. Brazi. I retract my former statement. Apparently, Craig in the chat tagged you in it a few weeks before me. He's exposed and shamed me, so please perma-ban him. That's funny. H. Brazi, I had no clue you added that because of the Bones clip. Oh, it's the best, dude.
Based on the bones. As you can see by the bones. Or the bones. Based on the bones.
Yeah.
Based on the bones.
Every evolution argument right there. There's not an evolutionary argument that isn't that. All right, let's move on to the actual topic. Reminder the topic. the future of religion in America. We're going to discuss another clip that's a year old from this chick, Britt Hartley, who I annihilated, who I'd love to do. I don't want to debate women at all. And by the way, just so you guys know, a little hint of the new debate show that I'm going to be producing with my other ortho thug buddy, hello listener. Women, no debate. There's no women debating on it. You don't get to debate if you're a woman on my debate show. So, you're welcome. How can we help the Nigerian Sudanese Christians? I actually don't know how, other than brute force, like warfare. I don't know how. You know what I mean? Because they're super passive. I've seen a lot of terrible footage. They're just getting... it's bad. It's real bad. So I don't know the answer to that question. Other than war. I would just say war. Fight. I guess. Just fight them. Big Bad Mama in the house. Jim Bob thinks that him changing denominations was some sort of critical thought process. Well, you don't have any arguments. In fact, that's actually a good point, Big Bad Mama. I don't think it was that, because some people do think themselves into a church, but I would actually agree with you. It wouldn't be reduced to just critical thought. Why? Because I don't hold to natural theology. In fact, my inquiry into orthodoxy, trying to think my way toward orthodoxy, was proven to be insufficient, Big Bad Mama, because when I attended my first divine liturgy, I realized nothing about the experience was purely propositional and using critical thought. So it's, coincidentally, you actually perfectly summarized my experience. But you're wrong that I thought myself into a new denomination. In fact, you can't even use the word denomination, big bad retard, without assuming there's something it's branching off that's true. A denomination has to come away from some solid branch, right? Like a branch. So using the term denomination, coincidentally, is something I did think about and go, well, if there's denominations, that means it means it's a derivative. If it's a derivative, that means that it's of something. So what's the something? And a quick examination, there's only two choices historically. There's only two choices if you're going to argue for true Christianity. It's Roman Catholicism or Orthodoxy. I'm sorry. Historically, if you're going to make a holistic argument for Christianity, you're going to have to go back into time and go, well, what is this thing we call Christian? And there's only two options. One option has papal authority and believes that Muslims worship Christ accidentally. And the other didn't innovate a bunch of things in the early 1000s. All right, let's look at this lady. She's like she's going to be the new person on the street, apparently. You know what I mean? She's going to be she's trying to create, this is the chick who had that whole video of secular spirituality. Remember that? Remember I covered her? She's basically saying, like, you can leave religion, you can leave all of this stuff and still have your spirituality. What? No. The people who are rejecting Christianity and other religions are rejecting mostly due to their empirical standards, that there's no evidence of spirit. There's no evidence of this other world called the spiritual realm. There's just biology. But she's like, no, I can't. Like, it's almost good news that she didn't fully abandon it. Maybe in time, God willing, she'll see. You can't make it compatible. You can't. Spirituality is incompatible with atheism. Unless you're just going to grant yourself a bunch of, like, good-feeling metaphysical terms that you can't talk about in any meaningful way. Dustin 5 Buckaroos. My first liturgy reminded me of the first time hearing a long and beautiful song. There's no proposition to explain Beethoven's Fifth, its experience. Yeah, you can't And then, Dustin, what's great about it is that any propositions following or in between or not during liturgy, how do I explain this? Your evaluation of the propositions about orthodoxy include the context of experience. For instance, a good example is the Bible. We all have an experience of the Bible when we grew up. Most of us in the chat didn't know that the Bible actually was created and compiled with a history and a purpose. Most of us were like, "Oh, look, the Bible. It's God's toenail. Has writing on it. He wrote on his toenail, and I get to read it." That's what we think. And then we realize, oh, wait a second. Wait. I have to place myself in the first 5 centuries at least and go, wait. What are they compiling this for? What are they doing? Well, it was compiled for practice. And so you couldn't, the notion of taking one of these like sola scriptura people, the notion of sending them back in time to the year like 350, 450, and them trying to figure out what to do, them trying to find a Bible or something like that. Like, let's say even after the 4th century, let's say the New Canon is compiled, 4th century is over. You send a prot sola scripturis back, and they're going, guys, where can I get a Bible? They'd be like, what are you talking about? Where can I get a Bible? I'm sorry. What? No, you had to go. You had to go participate. You didn't get the scripture from a store. You didn't order it. You didn't find it. You don't get to read it in an alleyway. You know what I mean? It's like completely absurd. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. Hey, what's up, Austin Sims? I'm a cringe atheist, but I like to think I'm pretty open-minded one. I have absolutely no problem in participating in religious rituals. I actually enjoy it. I actually have seen that in you on panels, Austin, that you seem to ask questions in good faith, like, oh, that's interesting. Thanks for answering my question. It brings up a question, Austin, like when I opened this stream, I basically said that humans can't escape some religious experience or some religious claim. And I'm not saying religious claim to mean like you identify a referent God and you you focus your energy and actions toward that God. I'm saying, like, generally speaking, a religious view from an atheist perspective would simply be a view that's not based in evidence. Like a religious belief, like colloquially, is like, oh, I believe something and it's not evidential, so I'm holding a type of religious belief. It's not based in evidence. It's not an evidential claim. And you go, oh, yeah, that's great for you, whatever. But what I'm saying is that there are a bunch of claims that you have to make, that you have to assume when you argue like Christianity bad or we should move in this direction or people, this should be illegal. You're actually making a smuggled claim about what it is to be human. You're making a claim that humans are peculiar and they have like value. Notice how we're not fully exhausting legal approaches to justice for every given organism. So you hold this religious belief that, like, I would say from an atheist perspective, the belief in rights is a religious belief. It's a belief in something that's not based in empiricism. There's no evidence. It's a religious assumption. You just assume rights exist, that there's some sparkly thing around us like an aura, like a legal aura. And it's like, you cannot violate that sparkle. That's their right. And you're like, what's a right? Where? Human rights, by golly. We need justice and equality. You're like, what? Equality? That's a religious belief. When have you ever looked into the natural world, ever, and captured something called equality ever. Not once. Anyway, let's get their take on the future of American religion. And notice when they're talking, what I like to do is I like to ask, what is the view that they're holding that gives them what they're talking about? Not exactly what they're talking about. What's obvious in their talking, in their questions? What do they grant themselves so that they can even talk about this? And from that thinking, it reveals a lot more than just the words they're saying. So let's take a look. See. Oh, we got a ginger. Unbelievable every time. Shout out to my gingers in the chat. Sorry everyone. I'm sorry. We got a ginger. Ginger alert.
I have a wonderful guest today, Britt Hartley. She goes by No Nonsense Spirituality Online. She has a wonderful book by that same title, tons of online resources. She did a video that caught my attention that was 10 things that die with the death of God. These 10 things are really important to consider. And I think we both share a similar goal of helping people as they move from religion into what Britt calls the void.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Hey, you guys, we're going to help you move from a foundational view of reality where you belong and you understand your relationships to other people and their structure and cohesion and shared unity and value. And we're going to help you. This is how demonic these people are. We have a channel helping people, moving them into the void. You know what I mean? It's just what we do around here. You know, I have a channel. I have a lot of green going on, and I'm just going to help you all step into Utopia Nowhereville. That's what we do here.
I'm thinking that Britt can give us some really good advice as we go through this. So without further ado, welcome to the channel, Britt Hartley.
My pleasure.
Really excited to have you here today. This video, you're brand new.
She looks like a professional snowboarder, doesn't she?
On YouTube at least, correct? It's only been like a month?
Yeah, just stepped my toe into YouTube, so we'll see how that goes.
Your content's fantastic, and I would again just encourage anyone, I'll link it down below. Please go and check out Britt's channel. I think you'll really like what she's doing. If you like what I'm doing, I'm certain of it. So tell us a little bit more about your background. What religion were you in? When did you leave? What caused you to leave?
Why is his eye? She still has light in her eyes, by the way. He's dead eyes. And this is, I guess, early.
And then
she still has a little bit of vitality in there. His are dead, which is funny because he has these bright blue eyes. Like, how do you have bright blue eyes that are death, that are actually the aura of death and gray, but it's blue?
Academic background, and then we'll dive into your video.
Yeah, so I kind of have a long deconstruction journey and a long reconstruction journey as part of my story. I was raised Mormon. I lost faith in that religion by the time I was a teenager, was kicked out of my home for various poor decisions by the time I was 16. And I would say by then I was doing what you would probably call nuanced Christianity. I don't know if I had that term yet. I was really driven by this question of what is. You know, if I could just figure out what the hell is going on here, I could try to pattern my life accordingly. So I'm really driven by these metaphysical questions, even when I was younger. So then I spent some time in Christianity. I ended up getting my master's degree in theology. I have an almost doctorate now in theology. And like so many people, I lost my faith in not only Christianity, but also God while in theology school, which is actually not that uncommon. For some people, they leave religion and they just kind of take off flying and like, this is great, everything's great, it's going to be fine. Perhaps because I tend towards the neurotic scale, I did not immediately do great upon the death of God. I kept deconstructing not only religion and God, but then sense of self and free will and morality and just deconstructing everything. And the end of that road, the end of deconstruction is the void, which
these poor people. How did you know you got to the void, though? I mean, that's an interesting claim. Have you ever deconstructed the idea that you got to the void? You notice how these people never use what they think is their sort of epistemic system? How do you know what you know? you know you deconstructed, and then you end up at this place, but they never then go, wait a second, now I have to deconstruct deconstructing, right? They don't do that. They go, I arrived. It's like what are the Buddhists? They're like, I killed my ego. And you're like, who killed your ego? Your ego. Who killed your oigle? And then I arrived at the void. Oh, I'm sorry. These are all very poetic statements. Hey, Britt, can you tell me how you know you found a void?
You know education is worthless when she's about to get a PhD in theology.
Yes. Like, let's get to the void. What do you mean the void?
Is you have no more anchors left. You have no more psychological or social anchors left. You've just
That's an anchor. Sorry. Contradiction.
blown everything up. And I was in need of tools for this space. I was not thriving. I was not doing well. I had some, what you would probably call now, existential crisis or existential depression, and continued to study and learn and grow and gather tools for rebuilding, this time without belief, and this time.
All right. Yeah. Let's see what she's going to rebuild without, quote, belief. I can't wait.
I'm without faith in the supernatural that I couldn't do anymore. And so now I really advocate for secular spirituality.
Oh my gosh, an immediate contradiction. So listen what she said.
Psychological or social anchors left. You've just blown everything up.
Watch this.
And I was in need of tools for this space. I was not thriving. I was not doing well. I had some, what you would probably call now, existential crisis or existential depression, and continued to study and learn and grow and gather tools for rebuilding, this time without belief, and this time without faith in the supernatural that I couldn't do anymore. And so now I really advocate for secular spirituality. And
so this time I regrew. I grew a new brand of philosophy and just moving away from the supernatural. And what I got to is secular supernatural. You see, it's not real supernatural. It's secular I'm sorry. Listen, Britt. What is spirituality referring to if it's not supernatural?
Reject beauty, reveal truth as a personal being, cohesion, embrace the void, TM, from not a
team. Yeah, I'm not a team, I swear.
And so, my platforms online are No Nonsense Spirituality, which is how do we get tools that are good for us, tools that we need as humans, without having to believe unbelievable things in order to get those tools.
What?
So I continue to do coaching for anyone on that spectrum. Just if you're deconstructing, if you're...
Listen, I'm started a coaching. I got this coaching thing going. Just so you guys know, I deconstructed, found the void. I'm going to help you find nothingness, too. Call 1-800-NOTHINGNESS. I'll coach you. That's actually a funny skit. I feel like this is like Portlandia level. Like the kind of nonsense these people talk about. And the guy interviewing has 108,000 followers. Mind shift. Can't even tell me what a mind is. This is like pressing stuff. I mean, this is avant-garde. It's absolute nonsense. It's like a joke I would write. It's like, oh, I'm going to see this coach right now. Oh, really? You do life coaching? Well, it's not life coaching. It's spirituality coaching. Oh, really? You're getting coached in spirituality? No, it's a secular spirituality. Oh, what do you mean? Oh, it's coaching you to deny supernatural things like spirits. And it also is coaching you. She helps you get to just a void, like a total void of absent meaning. Really? No nonsense. Wait, it's called No Nonsense Spirituality, but it's pure nonsense?
You're reconstructing. I tend to just by now know this space very well. And so I do, a lot of resources and coaching in that space.
Oh, you little goblin. You're just another little grifting goblin, aren't you? Can you do a kickflip, by the way?
Yeah, one of the things, so I checked out your website.
Yeah, I'm dead inside, and I checked out your website. Yeah, I'm dead.
And looked at some of your different courses, and I just loved all of the different verbiage that was used. I think in one case you call yourself a nihilism coach, in another.
Did you just say a nihilism coach? Is this a troll? Did you just say a nihilism coach? I was joking. I'm sorry. What are you coaching on? Well, your coaching session is meaningless and purposeless. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I paid for this. Tell me more. What a scam artist. Well, I mean, what the hell? What's that equivalent to, by the way? What is... Can you guys give me something that's equal in a pure oxymoron than that? Is there anything that is better? Is there anything better?
Other, you're talking about, how to frame a life without the woo. And some of these things just speak so true to me, because I think a lot of people, when they do...
Holy moly! Holy cow! Goodness gracious! Silent Majority coming in with a massive 100 super chat, getting me up to 16 of 50. Get the W's and likes in the chat for Silent. One of the most generous people I see, not just on my channel, but on a certain many channels. Thank you so much, Silent. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Now I could actually, you know what I'm going to do, you guys? You guys know what's going to happen, don't you? Guess who's going to spend my own money, and I'm going to get a nihilism coach from this chick, and I'm going to record it. How does that sound? Does that sound good? I'm calling her. I want a nihilism coaching. That's what I want.
Deconvert from any religion or even ideology, something
now I can afford it,
more fundamentalist. They hold on to some part, or they move towards this new age spirituality, and they get involved in crystals and chakras and all kinds of things like that. I don't know where you stand on everything, and I'm sure we're going to get into some things, but I read enough of your website to just see that you find value, it sounds like, in some of the wisdom.
Oh, recover. Okay, fair enough, Austin. Thank you for the correction. I don't think you get out of nihilism from this position, but if the correction is, what she means by nihilist coach is that when you reach nihilism, she's going to coach you through nihilism, but I think maintaining nihilism ultimately. I think she still maintains that the truth of the matter, which by the way you can't have under nihilism, the truth of the matter is that nihilism is true. Ultimately, this is all meaningless. It's illusory. It's temporal. It doesn't mean anything. It's accidental. It's toward nothing. There's no real meaning or purpose or direction at all. Let me help you get through that. Well, I mean, helping you get through it while maintaining it is a contradiction. So if you maintain nihilism, getting through nihilism is already a contradiction. There is no getting through nihilism. Because if nihilism was true, you can't get through anything because you're still in nihilism. You can't get through it. And ultimately, if you were to combat nihilism, the irony here is that you'd probably adopt a view that you didn't hold to be true, like Christianity, for the sake of defeating nihilism. So it's like, oh man, I left religion and it just stripped everything away from me, and I got to a completely dark void called nihilism. And then a lot of people go through that, so I wanted to help them through that. And ultimately, what would happen is I'd have to sell them something that's not nihilism, which would lead me back to the thing I deconstructed from.
Wisdom tradition from religions, but then you're just mixing that with a healthy dose of rationality and critical thinking. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's definitely fair. And you're right that when people first leave religion, often what's the easiest thing for our brains to do is to just essentially find a new religion. And today, a lot of that looks like is deconstructing Christianity and then maybe going over to paganism or kind of New Age crystal stuff. And we have to be careful that we're not just replacing one with the other. So
why? This is the thing. The Ginger Boy and the rest of the atheists never asked this question because they'll call it pre-supping. But you go, no, wait, hold on a second. This seems like a really simple question, Britt, but why? Why do that? Did you guys hear what she said? We have to be really careful to not just replace it with another religion. Why? Why do we, if nihilism is true, why do we have to be careful? Void? Yeah, exactly. Void's not a religion. Like, I thought you made it. I thought they graduated. Wouldn't the ideal position to be absent any other belief, you just sit in a void and do nothing, or become what would be a monk that's actually not a monk? Like a monk that's in pure isolation but is not dedicated to anything. It's absurdism, right? It's like that Diogenes. Like, does she think she's a modern Diogenes or something like this? I don't know. I don't know what she thinks.
You were a Christian. You escaped death by telling each other stories about grandmas in heaven, and
God, there are so many protein bars and granola stuff in her house.
The coping.
I could smell the Patagonia vest. I could smell it.
Mechanism. And so when you leave religion, a lot of people don't deconstruct fully and actually do things like face their mortality and do the hard work. It's much easier for the brain to say, oh, here's someone doing reincarnation work or talking about past lives or doing some kind of crystal something. They essentially then just plug that in so that they still don't have to think about death. And it's not because I know what ultimate reality is. I make no claims on what I think ultimate reality is. I just don't think that we know enough.
That's a claim on ultimate reality, you stupid wench. Sorry, excuse my language. I just get so annoyed with these people where they're like, I don't make any claims, I don't know enough. That's a claim about ultimate reality. I make no claims about ultimate reality. I don't know enough.
It's more that in light of how little...
It's just so annoying. That's why we got to bring back the Sean Connery slap. Derek, $10. I left Christianity, made my way to nihilism, and now a catechumen. Glory to God. Orthodoxy is the way out. Love your stuff, JB. That's great, Derek. Keep us posted on that. It's a fun thing. And honestly, by the time you get baptized, there's this minuscule feeling that you've accomplished something, and then you realize the daunting reality that you've only just begun again. So that's awesome, dude. Glad to hear that. Physicalist, how not surprising, yeah.
Little we know, and how our truth claims when it comes to gods and lives and planets and our truth claims around all of these things, our batting record is just zero. Like, we look back and we say that we've always been wrong. And so it's with intellectual humility that I say, maybe let's play a different game. Instead of trying to do truth claims first and then trying to get access to some of these tools that are really helpful for human well-being, let's just focus on the tool regardless of what's going on with objective reality. And
what the hell are you talking about? This is how I know this guy's a zombie. He's an actual, look at him. He's an actual zombie. He's like a reject White Walker. They're like, let's go eat people. And he's like, I'm trying to read. He's dead. He doesn't even notice what she said is stupid. This is why I think these guys hate each other. Like, these atheists hate each other. Christians would go, wait, I think I know what you mean, but I don't know if I agree with you. No, we don't agree with that. We fight each other. We fight. We debate each other. We say, no. That's not it. Oh, yeah, how do you know that? You think you know Christ? I have a Bible. You see all this. With these people, they never do it. They hate each other so much that they don't even care to listen to what each other is saying, to go, wait a second, I don't actually agree with that, what you just said. Listen to what she said. The irony of her calling her channel No Nonsense Spirituality is insane.
Our truth claims when it comes to gods and lives and planets, and our truth claims around all of these things, our batting record is just zero. Like, we look back and we say that we've always been wrong. And so it's with intellectual humility that I say, maybe let's play a different game. Instead of trying to do truth claims first and then trying to get access to some of these tools that are really helpful for human well-being, let's just focus on the tool, regardless of what's going on with objective reality.
Hey, Bimbo. That's contradiction. You have to hold that the tools themselves objectively exist in reality in some way. What are you talking about? This is insane. You know what I mean? This is why people think, like, in the history of revolutions, it's always said that they go after the intellectuals first because the intellectuals are the threat. I say no. I say those revolutionary regimes go after the intellectuals because they're useless. Because they're just rambling idiots. You're like, right to the gulag, right to the mass grave. I understand it. I don't advocate for it, but I understand why you would do that. And they're like coping. They're like, you're just trying to bury us in the ground because we're so smart. No. It's because you're a rambling idiot with no skill set. You can't polish anything. You can't rivet. You can't weld. You can't build. You can't do plumbing. You can't do anything. You sit around masturbating your brain. That's why you get sent to the gulags. You say dumb shit. Like, forget about it. I mistook. Yeah, I changed my mind about her eyes altogether. Both of them are dead.
And staying away from getting sucked into the cultiness or the dogma or the truth claims or pseudoscience, and just
blah, blah,
really
blah.
having some skepticism and critical thinking around these things. And also, though, recognizing that there are tools in religion and spirituality and wisdom traditions that are worth having, that even science says is really good.
So she's like a non-committal syncretist, basically, I think. I always get perennialism and syncretism mixed up.
For our mental health and well-being, I want to separate that. And
Why?
that for me has been the path that is most paid off. And also it tends to be really helpful for people who are leaving religion, who may be allergic to truth claims, or they've been burned before, or maybe they're skeptical. This approach for me has been separating the baby from the bathwater and getting all
What would you say if I told you I was mentally retarded?
the best of what religion has to offer without any of the dogma and the requirements of truth claims?
The requirements of truth claims? You just said the best of religion has to offer. That's a truth claim. You retard. I'm just going to sift out the best of religion without any truth claims. Are you really that dumb? And what is this mind shift guy? I thought you were like this like fancy philosopher examiner. Do you understand what she just said? It's like, they don't like each other. They don't like each other. They hate each other.
I love that. I love that so much.
I love that so much for you. I mean, I just love that. Everything you just said is actually retarded, but I'm glad you're saying it, not me.
I are in total agreement, which I'm a little surprised because when I first started watching your video, there were a couple terms you threw out and I thought, oh man, this isn't going to be quite what I thought. And I was actually still excited to speak to you, but I thought there'd be a higher level of pushback. Some of those terms were, one thing you call yourself is a atheist spiritual director. And then
I'm an atheist spiritual director, you guys. Maybe she's on our side, honestly. You know what I mean? Maybe she's paid, honestly. Maybe the PSYOP thing is actually real. I'm starting to get behind it now. Maybe there's a fund. Maybe it's from the Catholic Church. Maybe it's who knows? Who knows who's funding? Maybe we're funding these people to go out and to demonstrate how truly absurd you can be and be accepted inside of atheism and secularism. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe. I mean, if it was, glory to God, that would be amazing. If she was just an epic hired troll that was just like go out, say the most absurd things from the atheist perspective and see if these goblins eat it up.
I've also heard you talk about, the secular approach to religion. And so still having these loaded words like spiritual and religious was something that, because I was so keen to stay away from that weird middle ground after deconverting, I let the pendulum swing a little more to this side where I wanted it to be nothing but critical thinking, rationality, logic, facts. Those words scared me for a while. And I see people that leave religion and they use these words, and it does lead to more of that woo side. So I've seen enough of your stuff now to know that you've also avoided that. But tell me, let's talk about the terminology a little bit. So you call yourself an atheist spiritual director. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
So being a spiritual director is actually a program. So that was a 2-year program that I did on top of my master's degree.
Oh, good. Someone made a program. So you did a program? You did a spiritual director program?
Be able to learn the art of sitting with people in their spiritual journey. And so that actually does have some structure around that concept. However,
this chick's going to be on The View in about a year. Mark my words.
However, the language in this space is very tricky, and I have to be very careful because we just don't have secular words for a lot of these things. We don't have, something like the umbrella of religion or even just spirituality. I define spirituality as connection to your deepest self and outside of yourself. For me, that doesn't.
That's great. Yeah, Stalin had a lot of connection. He made a lot of connections. So did Mao. Just connection. That's all it was. It was a spiritual journey, according to Britt here.
Doesn't include a higher power. For other people, it does. But for something like religion, it's such a big umbrella. Religion talks about community and art and awe and transcendence and ritual and rites of passage and moral education. There's just all these things under that word. We don't really have a secular counterpart that...
Yeah, you have shit. You have nothing. You have a pile of sand and garbage and shit. And you leave destruction in your wake everywhere you guys go. That's what it is. That's what you do. Your entire philosophy is anti-something. You don't have a positive position because you're nihilists. You don't have a positive position because you don't believe in teleology. You don't believe in higher purpose. You don't have a positive position because you can't ground. You have no philosophy of mind that's coherent. You don't have an ethical system that you can hold other secularists to. You don't have any binding deontology or duties. You have no tradition. You have nothing. You're empty shells. Well, the biggest problem with secularism is it's an actual void, epistemic void, metaphysical void, spiritual void, ethical void. It's a void. It's empty. It's got nothing to it. It's got no bones. So what we like to do over at my coaching program is we like to attach ourselves to the veins and the bones of what came before us that we reject. We like to attach ourselves like one of those sucker fish to the sharks, little parasitic unit that feeds on, subverts, inverts, perverts the foundations. We like to move into, conservative neighborhoods that are pristine, low crime, high trust. And we like to bring all sorts of disgusting, damaging philosophies to it. That's what we do. Atheism is like the leukemia of worldviews.
Means all of that, but in a secular connotation. And so what you see in this space, people...
They're so disgusting. They're so disgusting how they do this. Just like with a straight face. They just sell confusion, and they make money on confusion, and they drive people into an unknowable void where they have no grounding to anything. And then they have the gall to reinvent the thing that they dismissed. And could just call it something else. But no. I rejected spirituality, but I invented secular spirituality. Yeah, I'm doing that now. like crabs.
I deconstructed the void and at the bottom I found the poo-poo.
That's
This
right.
is the meaning of Diwali.
Yeah, you guys are the worst.
People who are doing work like me is there's a lot of dual
Work
words.
like
So I'm
you?
going to say that I'm a spiritual director because I do have a master's degree in theology and I did do a spiritual direction program. But I'm going to add in there that I'm an atheist, which is confusing. But I have
No, why is it confusing, though? Did we examine why it's confusing, Britt?
to add something in there or I'm going to be misleading people as far as what I do.
Yeah.
You just contradicted yourself, dummy. I have to include something that's a contradiction and makes no sense. Otherwise, I'm going to mislead people. And the guy just like, yeah, that makes sense. This is why I need prayer. That's why I pray. This is why, because I hear this and I go, using purely your rational faculties, how can you say these things? And how can you hear someone say these things and say that you're on the side of rationality and go, yeah, that makes sense? That doesn't make any sense. No. Here's the brutal truth, Britt, you little grifter. You need to sell spirituality because you know people search for it. You know there's a demographic for it. You need to include spirituality not because it needs a name. It's because you know people search for it. You sick bitch.
And so you get a lot of these dual
You demonic bitch. Sorry. Lord forgive me.
terms: atheist spiritual director, rational mysticism, secular spirituality, spiritual but not religious.
Off to the gulags.
There's just a lot of these word sandwiches that we're trying to make that means there's something here. There's something here that's in.
There's something here I can pervert. Ugh. There's something here I can totally turn upside down.
Have you ever done an analysis of dialetheism? No.
Interesting and even good for us, and there's science that shows it. But can we do it
There's
with
science
less
that shows it.
superstition and supernatural than we have in the
There's some
past? Because
science.
we're just historically bad at the game of what is God and what is God thinking about today.
Yeah.
Like, we need to probably stop playing that game because we're just bad at it. We're just not. And even if there is a God, and even if one religion is right, statistically, it's not going to be yours. And so
No, you don't even have access to that, dude. This is what's wrong with these people's minds. You don't have access to statistics, Britt, in the realm of which God is true, okay? It's not just a numbers game. That's not how that works. Numbers games, Britt, and all you atheists who like to talk about statistics and likelihood, numbers games has to do with the thing that's favorable. The number that's favorable. Let's take a roulette table. She's trying to equate religion with roulette. The roulette table has all possible outcomes, and you have access to them. And then you go, what's the likelihood of it hitting one of those? And because you have access to favorable outcomes and unfavorable outcomes, you can do statistics. But with God existing, you can't do that. You can't actually do that. It's a different category. Because God would proceed, if you're arguing for God, would proceed and make available statistics. God existing couldn't be in the same category as statistics, which is a created phenomenon. And even if you're not a religious person, what I mean by created, I mean it's temporal. That statistics requires the world to be a certain way. The question of God is who and what accounts for the world being a certain way. It's not stochastic. It's not. It's previous to that. You don't have access to that. It comes before it. It doesn't make sense to say that. You did predict that atheists would start moving toward a creation myth, spiritual absence of God. Yes. Yeah, I think this is going to get even more rigidly defined with the advent of new technology and people under the assumption that their intellect or their mind can be transferred into another server space, or aliens. Aliens might be the psyop to get a bunch of people on board, atheists, with intelligent design. It's not a God-created designer. They're gonna go, no, I believe in intelligent design is just like a simulation view, or an out there multi-dimensional intelligence. Like, there's a view that holds it's a kind of panpsychism. There's a new form of panpsychism where you try to make the universe itself and matter has its own type of intellect. Almost like it's actually kind of parallel to Mormonism a bit. There's just levels and gradients of perception. Like, even a rock, as long as there's some sort of sense data that's introduced and there's an effect, they call that some type of intelligence, where it's just cause and effect, which is kind of ironic because cause and effect would actually make knowledge impossible. If everything was just pure cause and effect, you don't have access to truth or knowledge.
So I just think we need to let that go. So I tend to use these words just because I want to reclaim them so that religion doesn't have a monopoly on.
Jim Bob coping hard? No, I'm not coping. I have very reasonable refutations of the stupidity this chick is saying. In fact, if you were an atheist, you should call these people out. Honestly, look, I don't know who has a channel. Austin, I don't know if you do a channel. You seem like a nice enough guy. Atheists who do a little bit of infighting will get a lot of traction. If you're a YouTuber out there and you're an atheist and you do all this stuff, nobody that I've seen is doing adequate counters to what other atheists are saying, other stupid things they're saying. There's so many stupid things atheists and secularists are saying now, and it's obvious that the Christian is going to attack it. That's just predictable, right? So it's not a big deal. There's a massive missing element. You guys, it's right there. It's right there for you. You guys thought America, in particular, reached, especially inside the world of Christianity, that you call Christianity, like fire and brimstone nonsense, heretical Christianity. You're like, this is idiocracy. I would actually agree with you. The snake handling, speaking in tongues, all of that, performative prosperity gospel and the rest. Yeah, I'm with you. But you guys, you have the idiocracy of atheism and secularism right in front of you, and nobody's tackling it. You all just agree with, oh, well, at least he's going after religion. Jim Bob's coping. No, it's right there. It's like fresh meat.
On some of these things that are just human.
Yeah. No, you're right. They're just human.
Just human.
And when you get down...
just human, yeah. Another thing that they just grant themselves.
Under the umbrella, a lot of the terms I think people...
And by just human, you mean something that's in flux that came from an animal that ultimately you don't have a symmetry breaker for between man and beast? They just say, oh, it's just human. Never question once. They never question once. What is that? What worldview gives you that distinction? Human. As some sort of universal. It's not.
People can relate to much better. You said words like awe or ritual, or we're going to be talking about in one of your 10 points here, the sacred, and even detaching that from its religious roots. I think those words make a lot of sense to people, but you're right. In terms of like a catch-all or those big umbrella terms, we kind of need some new lingo there.
We need new lingo. And the lingo is essentially going to be borrowed from the thing you're rejecting. This is just basic level subversion. But here's the misconception. Wow, what a freeze frame for both of them. Here's what I see here happening. They think, like secular marriage, Dave Rubin, they think using the word gives them the same freedom and space to participate. But that's the problem. You can try if you want, atheists, to borrow spiritual language, to borrow religious language, to borrow let's say a Christian structure for ordering society, absent all of the duties and obligations and beliefs and practice, like all the rituals. You can borrow it if you want. You could try to do it. The question isn't whether or not you can come up with new lingo. This is all like postmodernist garbage. It's like this kind of this view that like as long as you can adopt some of the lingo, then the reality is somehow downstream from the lingo. It's not. The reality is not downstream from the lingo. The language and the sounds that you're making is not the thing that we're talking about. So they think they can do a little trick here. Just like Dave Rubin said, well, my husband is really soft. Therefore, he's adequately substituting the necessary nurturing nature of a woman, of the true mother. Because he's using lingo. Soft, caring, loving, crosses his legs, wears slippers, has a lot of bathrobes, reads at night somehow. They're doing the same thing. They're like, well, we need some atheist lingo. Well, no, this is a sales technique so they can sell their courses. Brit is a scammer. I mean, honestly, she's a scammer. Now, she might be in like self-defense survival mode, so I have some charity for her, but Spen was here, $10. If, quote, atheist just means you don't care, I think that somewhat goes hand in hand. Isn't that just a bit generally? You should be interested in the truth if you're going to debate, surely. Well, they have no reason. One of the best questions you can ask an atheist off the bat as they try to corner you in biblical claims or try to present some disgusting things that happen in the Bible or whatever, all you have to do with an atheist is ask, why should we pursue true beliefs? Why should we pursue the truth? That's what you ask them. They're like, I can't believe you're asking this. They're like, are you pre-supping me? Well, kind of. I'm just asking you, why should we pursue the truth? Do you have a good reason from an atheist view? Do they? Do they have a good reason from an atheist view? Anybody? Any atheists in the chat want to actually answer the question? Why should we? Not why do you want to? Why should we? Is it a should claim? Is there any obligation for humans to pursue truth? Dr. Evo, $5. This lady needs to wear a mindless tard helmet, baseline provided in Godless Engineer's Dumb 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 moment. Did you make that? Are you saying there's an email, Dr. Evo, that I haven't opened yet? Do we get that? Oh, yes. Yes. I love my life. I love my life. I love my chat. I love you guys. All righty. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's see what Dr. Evo has done for us. Probably something insanely awesome. Mindless. Here we go. Here we go. This should be good. Mindless. This one's called Mindless
no.
Tard Helmet. Of course. Got to go with a good name. Mindless Tard Helmet. Are you guys ready? Mindless Tard Helmet and action.
No.
I did the one night fucking to the door with my helmet. My helmet. I did the one night fucking to the door with my helmet. My helmet.
I did the one night fucking to the door with my helmet. My helmet. I did the one night fucking to the door with my helmet. My helmet.
Speaking of maturity, I never said I was mature. Wow. And you're saying there's no meaning in life? What, are you kidding me? You know what's sad is I won't have access to these in the in-person debate in Nashville, which is kind of like, why would it be against the rules if I had a speaker with like a live stream deck? Like, why would that, if I don't interrupt, why would that be against the rules? I'll think about it.
or you
Yeah.
just have to borrow and keep explaining yourself, because you're right. It's just a delicate environment when it comes to how people relate to these words. I appreciate the clarity there. Tell me
Shout out to Dr. Evo for his magic.
a little bit more. I'm split. Part of me wants to get so badly to your video because those are the topics that I love the most, like the 10 things you cover. I cannot wait. But then another part of me is so intrigued by your academic background. More specifically, and I don't think you mentioned it yet, in one of your videos, you say that you have a focus on the future of American religion. Tell me about that. Because
Here we go. Paying you 20, Josiah says, Jim Bob is better spiritual director than Brit. Let's pay you, not Brit. She's a demon director. She is. Thank you for that very generous tip, sir. Yeah, let's talk about this, because this is obviously the topic of I literally called my stream exactly their stream, so it gets muddled in their search engine. So if they see the future of American religion, they're going to see my take on it.
as someone who lives in the States, and most of the audience that is watching this lives in the States, and as we see this transition where the nuns are going up, Christianity is going down, but there's still these death throes where it seems almost more intense than ever. And then you've got, maybe Islam coming in and starting to grow, and little cults and spirituality popping up everywhere. The future of American religion seems like the most important and craziest topic to me. Tell me what you mean when you say you have a focus in that.
Yeah. And for someone who doesn't have a master's degree, with a focus in that for you, you did a pretty good job actually mapping out what's going on. But yeah, I was fascinated by this question when I was, deciding what I wanted to focus on, and my capstone paper for my master's degree. And I really was interested in Gen Z spirituality. And like you said, okay, people are leaving organized religion. They're still human. They still have all the same needs that they had before, that everybody has. My big driving question is, where is this going? And also the question that is being discussed more today is not whether or not religion is true. It's whether or not religion is good for people, whether or not religion is good for society. And if you've been a person who's been on YouTube for a long time and you went through all the theist debates and you watched your Christopher Hitchens debates, 20 years ago, the conversation really was, is God real? That conversation did not go very well for theists. And
What? It went perfectly fine. What are you talking about? Christopher Hitchens was one of the worst debaters ever. Now, he was excellent at rhetoric, so if you're going to go, well, let's decide who's a good debater based on pure rhetoric, yeah, he'd probably be a good debater. But I include rhetoric, but you can't judge a debater just by rhetoric. They have to actually have arguments. Christopher Hitchens, I would even argue that one of your favorite people in the atheist world, Alex O'Connor, did a whole video on how bad Christopher Hitchens' non-existent arguments were. She doesn't know what she's talking about. You're going to really say that the debate between William Lane Craig, who's an active heretic, but still kicked Sam Harris's ass, literally flushed his stupid moral landscape book down the toilet with a defeater, as he called a knockdown argument? I believe I have a knockdown argument. Destroyed him. But yeah, one thing I do agree with her about is the focus was always, is God real dough? However, I would probably...
What's worse, this lunatic or a person who claims to be orthodox but doesn't practice it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to... This person's worse. Because at least... Even if someone who's not practicing Orthodox and is in a contradiction, the moment they say I'm Orthodox, at least it opens up someone else being like, really? What is that? I'll go. So this person's worse. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I would agree with her that at least the way in which this was talked about was God real dough. But a little Mr. Mean Smoky Man came along and met up with Matt Dillahunty and said, you know what? I'm not going to argue, is God real? No. Instead, I'm going to grant you that everything about Christianity is false. It's total delusion. We're all crazy people. But The thing is, why would that be bad? And it absolutely opened the door to this argument, which is basically, if a secular humanist, let's take one in the chat, let's say Austin Sims, didn't believe any of the Christian doctrine, but he started to hold, just for pragmatic sake, a Christian ethical paradigm. And he thought, well, maybe we should order society from a Christian view. And you go, are you a Christian? You go, well, no, I'm not. I don't believe any of the rest of it. I just want to hold the ethical system, just arbitrarily, no reason at all. I just like it. The secularists can't argue against it. That was like the biggest empty, weak scale of the dragon. Because it was always about, can I prove God? Is it a rational belief? What about God? Does God need it for morality? And all this stuff, right? But no, something shifted, and the atheists and the secularists can't compete with it. Why? Because it's permitted under their own view. What's permitted under their own view? It's permitted for a secularist to adopt a Christian nationalist position, but completely engage with it from a secular position. And the other secularist can't say anything because there's nothing you can say, because it's just, I prefer Christian ethics. It's a massive problem for secularism now.
I do think that atheists tended to do better in those debates. The conversation now has shifted. It's no longer about whether God is real. The most recent debate was Ben Shapiro and Alex O'Connor, and that debate was, is religion good for society? Is it necessary for society? And that is actually a more complicated question. That's a question that you really need to dig on. And so I love this idea of seeing where religion and spirituality is going in America with this wave of deconstruction that I was a part of too. I just want to see, where is this going?
Yeah. And you're right. There has been this shift of, let's agree to disagree on the reality of the situation, but let's talk about the usefulness of it, as if the usefulness equals some truth value as well. And
yes, yeah, you're still dodging a major problem. If you even let's say granted that holding a Christian view is practical or better for society, you still have a big question that you can't answer, secularist. Why ought we pursue what's better for society anyway? You know what I mean? Like, let's all just agree some standard. By the way, that's a whole other debate. What's better for society? These people think homosexuality is better for society.
She literally said, it's not about whether
Right.
religion is true but whether it is useful.
Yeah.
Then proceeds to say, these God real argument did not go well. Contradiction.
Yeah, it
is
is.
God being real matter if he's useful? I
That's
did good. Right, JB?
You did good. You did good, Indian lady. Really good job. Yeah, so this is a problem. They don't understand. The problem with secularism is they don't understand the problem they're in. Does that make sense?
your example of Ben Shapiro is good. Additionally, I know Jordan Peterson is big in this space of these meta truths and how we couldn't function without it. And then everyone starts bringing in the Judeo-Christian values. Go ahead.
Right. And with Jordan Peterson, whatever you agree about Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson politically, because they're both politically very divisive, especially.
Hayden says, where did Christians get most of their moral ideas from? Humanity? That's not an argument. What do you mean? Moral ideas? Well, no. I mean, ideas, by the way, what's an idea, Hayden? Your view, Hayden, you can't even tell me what an idea is. From your view, it's probably a physical event. So, I mean, what's the difference between moral ideas and godly ideas? By the way, you would be under the same scrutiny. It'd be like, where'd you get all your anti-God ideas from? Humanity. So that doesn't tell us anything, bro. All of your views are from some other view then. Okay. Whose views are true? You don't have a standard. Because they're all from... If they're all from humanity, then your own critiques are from humanity, you dummy. That you just negated or put into question your own critique. If your critique is ideas come from humanity, then your ideas against those ideas come from humanity. Is that somehow a disadvantage now? This is how stupid you guys are. Atheists are spiritually dumb and therefore intellectually fogged. They don't think when they talk. Thank you, Rob Nor. Appreciate your raid, sir. Great job on that debate with that absolute moron. If you want to laugh, Rob, watch my review of it. Seriously. 80 big buckaroos from Austin. Thank you so much, Austin, from Australia, for the goal. Very generous of you. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Speaking of which, we're at 21 left, y'all. 21 left. So why I like these people to call in, like Hayden. They never do, though. Jim Bob's arguments are nonsense. Tell me one argument I made. Steelman it. I bet you can't.
Actually,
maybe it is. Maybe I made an argument that's nonsense, but can you actually present it? Can you steelman it?
Today,
No.
both of them get a lot of heat for various political statements that they've made. Putting that aside for a second, though.
Mike B says, atheists have a standard for knowing truth absent God. You're the one that doesn't have a leg to stand on. That's a claim. Now, notice how Mike B here in the chat won't actually justify the claim. He'll just make the claim. Cool. Tell me what the standard for truth is from an atheist view. Tell me. What's the standard? What's the criteria or criterion? Tell me what the absolute standard for truth is from an atheist worldview. Has anyone told you you look like Peter Dinklage? Yes. And I act like 1, 2.
The 4-part debate that they did,
Oh, fantastic.
I really see as the conversation of our time.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson, even though I disagree and even though I tend towards maybe the Sam Harris side of things, his fear of nihilism and what happens when
Sam Harris, that's hilarious.
God dies are well-founded. Like that is something to be.
We use facts via observation. Oh, what's a fact? You think facts exist? What a contradiction. That's a really interesting statement. Hey, Mike B, you believe facts exist? Yes or no? Hey, Mike, do you believe facts exist? It's a yes or no question. Here's how you wreck Mike. You look at the bones?
Based on the bones, as you can see by the bones are the bones. Based on the bones.
Yeah.
Based on the bones.
Tell me, Mike, do facts exist? I'll
be aware of. And I do think that that conversation really was showing the tension of our time, which is how do we break away from these gods?
Mike says, yes, do facts not exist? Don't ask me a question. So facts exist. Do you observe a fact? You just cooked your own epistemology. That's all it takes for me to wreck you. You just ended your entire view. You know what's truth because of the facts we observe. Do you observe facts? No.
Dear Mr. James T. Bob, since you don't want donations by Dirk, please refund the cost. It was $100. Okay, next. Do you guys remember that part in Warlock where he summons Satan and he asks what his reward will be for getting the Grimoire to Satan so he can open the gates to hell? And Satan in his wisdom says, serving Satan is its own reward. That was a powerful moment in cinema, and it spoke to selfless service. Blessings of Dirconius Scribonius PBH.
What? You're saying selflessness is grounded in the fallen angel? Wow.
But then how do we actually build society without a collective myth? We've never done it before. And so
I asked you a question, Mike. Do you observe facts? Because you said how you know truth is by the facts that you observe. And then I asked, do facts exist? And you said yes. And I said, okay, we're using your standard. What's observable is what's true. Do you observe facts? No, you don't. You're done. It's over. There's no place you can go back to the crayon munching table and come back with a better epistemic system. We observe the world. Really? Is that a singular or a universal? Is that a particular of the world or is that a collection of things, Mike? Dude, you don't even belong here. I'm like a novice in philosophy and you're like a Down syndrome person who had a Down syndrome kid. You're not even the first generation.
secularism seems to not be doing that well. And there's some valid concerns that came up in that debate that I think really was the conversation of our time.
I agree. And I've found myself erring on this side where it's like we've had forever, literally all of human history, to work out the God experiment. And that also didn't go very well. And we're in this transition.
He says we observe the world. By the way, that's a metaphysical. That's not actually a fact. The world is a general statement about a set of particulars. Doesn't actually say anything. He says we deduce facts which are observed. No, you don't observe facts. There's no place you observe a fact, dude. You don't weigh a fact, touch a fact, smell a fact. None of it. You're toast, bro. It's already over. It's already over. Do you need the helmet song? I think Mike needs the helmet song.
No.
You did it to yourself.
I did the first night first with my helmet. My helmet. I did the first night first with my helmet. My helmet.
I did the first night first with my helmet. My helmet. I did the first night first with my helmet. My helmet.
Speaking of maturity. So shut up, Mike. You're a dummy. You roasted yourself. We didn't even need to make an argument. We just ask you one question and your whole view is done, dude.
Period, if you will. And yes, I agree. It's a very rocky start and we need to figure out some things seriously and very quickly. And I think that's a lot of the work that you're doing. And I appreciate that so much. But there's been times where I've been pressed on that question of, well, what do you think's going to happen if, no one had a God tomorrow? And yeah, I don't agree that it's going to be sunshine and rainbows, but I do think it might be worth the infancy stage, the problematic stage, to get to what it can be without these things.
Yeah, what could it be? Notice how you guys never tell us what this is? What did I say at the beginning? These people reject religion. And they have this view that if you remove religion, you then could get to this thing, right? And we ask you, what's this thing you're getting to? It's a religious view about the future. You know what I mean? It's crazy. He's like, well, if we just got rid of religion, this idea of like belief without evidence, then we can finally get to a future, which is a belief without evidence.
Again, it's a great experiment. One of the things that helped me frame it better, because I just had this I didn't like, Jordan is still trying to make these truth claims about religion in some capacity. But when it hit me better was actually a conversation between Alex O'Connor and Sam Harris, where Alex kind of played devil's advocate to Sam Harris. I don't know if you saw that on the topic of morality. And he said, but Sam,
yes,
what if there's just something about religion, about going to church on Sunday? Atheists don't gather. They don't do these community things that are good for us. And maybe you do just need a God to say, I want you here every Sunday, for people to actually get out of bed, put their selfish desires away.
That's right, Bill Hicks. The no religion. That's what it is. Just like the anarchist. We want to make sure there's no government around here. Is that going to require some guns? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's get some guns and make sure nobody starts a government around here. We're going to make sure they don't do something. Okay. Are you governing? No, I'm just making sure there's no governments around here. Just keeping it clean. You know what I mean? So dumb. This is the effect of secularism and believing in evolution, honestly. It's horrible. You mix all in the same 2 centuries, evolution, individualism, like the whole Enlightenment project, and then secularism, the absence of God, all combined. You end up, these are your products right here, these 2 dipshits on the screen.
And show up. Like maybe that's what it takes. And that conversation between the 2 of them, I thought was more real in that sense than the diametrically opposed, well, I do still think religion is kind of true, and thus I'm arguing for X, where Alex has just seen it from that actual useful, the utility of maybe what religion brings.
So here's another question I ask atheists, and they freeze up and short circuit, and eventually I don't even know what they do with their lives. But Here's a brutal question. If you're an atheist, why should people or any individual pursue and hold something that's true, it's a true belief, as opposed to holding any belief that provides adequate utility for their goals? Can anyone answer that as an atheist? Why should I pursue and maintain what you call a true statement, as true proposition, true belief of something, as opposed to obtaining any beliefs that provide any level of utility toward my arbitrary goals? You know what you get? You get silence. Absolute silence. There's no way for them to answer this question.
And that is such a more interesting conversation than just, is this God true? Because we have more evidence that religion is good for you than we have evidence that your religion is true. And so, yeah, that I did watch that conversation, and it was interesting because he forced Sam Harris to say, if you have to choose between truth and well-being, because at some point with some of these things, we may have to choose between truth and well-being. So for example, if it's true that we don't have free will, but society only functions if people believe that they do, what do we do? What do we choose when we have to choose between truth and human well-being? And Sam said, you have to choose human well-being.
No. He said you lie. There was another question posed exactly the same way. He said, well, if it's the case there's no free will, and ultimately she's totally mangling this, by the way. Now, there might be another event where he said something similar, but the one that's memorable in my mind is he was asked specifically by a student, if you believe there's no free will, and ultimately that leads to the conclusion, the entailment, that nobody actually does anything morally wrong because they were determined to. There was no will in the moment. There's no culpability. And he was asked, Britt, you lying snake demon wench, he was asked, well, what do you tell the kid then? What do you tell the kid? Do you teach them that they have no free will, therefore no culpability, no responsibility, no morality, nothing? He said this. He said, you lie. He said, you lie. Now, I think she's actually lying right now about this, because I think what she's referencing is that I could bring it up too. He said, you lie. That's what you do. You lie. Which is a total contradiction, by the way, because if lying is permissible now, then you could just teach your kids Christianity, and it's just a noble lie. It's just a good lie to tell. So it's funny is that the secular view, if you make its way into a circle back to the beginning, the start of atheism is a lie, and then it justifies a lie, and it comes back to, well, then lying about Christianity would be useful then, so why should we not lie about Christianity? If we're willing to lie for the well-being to say men can be women, if that's a noble lie, I'm sorry, what's the threshold breaker for teaching children that God exists and that they're made in love and that they have a purpose and duty here?
And so then if that's true, then he said, if we had good data, if we had good science that said that people can't do this without God, and human well-being is going to go down if everybody kind of confronts nihilism, what would you do? And he said, if I knew that were true, I would pull my books off the shelf, because I would know that it's going to decrease human well-being. And that is an interesting conversation, because we have to have the conversation then of, why is truth valuable then? Because in Christianity, it's like, oh, truth will eventually lead you closer and closer to God. We should seek truth. Okay.
Our view is that truth is a being, a person. Your view is truth is a set of propositions that always change in resolution. That's a fundamental difference between not just atheism, but any religion ultimately that's not Christianity. They don't hold that truth is actually the person. They hold that it's a set of propositions, but from that view, as we saw with Dummy Mike in the chat, where it leads you to. So notice how they're talking about, well, the difference between pursuing truth versus pursuing just what's useful. why are we pursuing truth? Well, no, first, Britt, you don't get to escape this. Neither the ginger goblin that you're talking to or you can tell me what the absolute standard for truth is. So they're asking a second claim, right? The first claim is truth exists. No, I'm not granting you that from your atheist view. They try to go to second order statements about truth. No, let's stick to first order. Truth exists. This is why they don't like me. This is why these atheists don't like to debate me, because they just call it, oh, I'm presupping them. I don't care what you call it. If you start with the first order claim that truth exists, I'm going to ask you, how do you know that and what is it?
But if we leave that, what actually is the value of truth? Because there are many studies that show that the more aware you are, or the more you are kind of aware that things are a matrix or reality isn't what you think it is, or you don't have free will, it can psychologically unhinge you. You can go down in your well-being through some truths. And so now we have to have the conversation as atheists as far as what do we choose when we have to choose between truth and well-being?
You don't have access to truth, dude. Are you a dude or a lady?
And I do think that they navigated that conversation very well.
It's like Shaun White when he was 12.
And Sam Harris just has, I think, a little bit more faith and optimism. Faith, I shouldn't use that word. He has a little bit more.
Oh, icky word, faith. Yucky, yucky. Faith. It's so sad.
More optimism.
And this is where, by the way, this is good news. This is where modern atheism is. This is where they are. I don't turn to any dark crevice or elevated stage of atheism. Dark nooks and crannies of the internet where atheists are sitting there, or the ones with the spotlights, it's all the same to me. They are at the end of their road. They have nothing to lean on. They have to start to adopt Christian views, which they always have. They just inverted them, but now they're a little more open with it. They're like, guys, we got nothing. How do we replace traditionalism? How do we replace Christianity? If we're saying abandon that, what do I have? What do we have? Nothing. You have to make fake churches. You guys are like the meme, the people who reject traditionalism and all this stuff, and then they start a family and a church. It's like, that makes no sense. Thank you for the $5. By the way, we're at 33 of 50, 44 minutes left. Let's get a nice chain. Let's get a super chat chain. 17 left. I still don't understand quite understand, why is truth a being, or why does it have to be that way? I might just be retarded. Well, no, it's a good question. First, we have to say what the alternative is. If truth is a set of descriptions, then truth is like built up autonomously from a bunch of particulars, right? So that would mean truth, you couldn't actually access it because it's reduced to particular claims only. Oh, we got to say what the truth is. It's a propositional statement, but that doesn't work because you need something to be true before you get to propositional statements. So that's insufficient. You can say propositional statements can be true, but you can't say propositional statements are the grounding foundation for truth, because you need a whole set of things before that to be true. So that's not an option. Then you look at what the ontology of truth necessarily needs to be, and it can't be concrete. Zerzaxify. Is that your name? Zerzaxify. Truth, like a fact, you can't hold it, taste it, touch it, melt it, burn it, put it on a cake, eat it. You can't do that. These are now in a different realm. So if there's a material aspect to reality and an immaterial aspect to reality, things like truth, knowledge, goodness, forgiveness, love, compassion, and all the rest, right? Laws of logic. If there's a whole other part of reality that's not reduced to physicality, now you have to justify how it is those things exist. Well, Zerzaxify, the things I've listed are conceptual. These are conceptual and universal. So what do we know about concepts? They require a mind. That's why it leads to a being, Zerzaxify. because the things that you need to assume, which are absolute, invariant, unchanging, so that you can talk about knowledge and truth in propositional form, that whole category is a mind-oriented category. That means being.
This chick is a irony machine. We just watched her react to the word faith in a superstitious manner.
Yes, that's right. She was like, oh, faith. We don't want to say that. Why not? You have no reason. You actually don't have a reason to not say faith. Suzanne Griffith, thank you so much. Super chain. Yeah, get the super chain going, y'all. Get Jortlandia funded so it could maintain, at least maintain level with the water that it's in. Just a little island out here, guys. You know, I don't have beard cream. I don't sell guitar pedals. I don't have workout powder. You know what I mean? It's all you guys. Jim Up, do you think the future of religion in this world in the U.S. will be the worship of money? No, I think we already got that. Thank you for that super chat. I think the future of American religion is orthodoxy. That's what I believe. Alter Void, $5. What is truth in this lady trying to look like a 12-year-old boy? It is a weird look. I think she's rejecting the patriarchy. Like, I don't have to look beautiful. I could look like one of the skater avatars from the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Another link in the chain. Thank you so much, you guys. Keep that chain going. 13 more, y'all. Faith is belief without justification. Yeah, that's right. Hayden, you have faith. That's right. You do have faith. You have a belief without justification. That's faith. I agree. Faith and a belief without evidence or justification. You have that. Atheists have faith. Belief without justification.
That we can get through the infancy phase, and we're going to have.
Yeah, the I don't need to be pretty for a man routine, yeah. I'm going to look like a 12-year-old boy. I love psychogenesis. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. Whoops, that's Contra, Nintendo. I like that too. I have a skateboard. You know what I want for Christmas?
Have some growing pains, but what's on the other side is going to be better. I'm a little bit more scared than he is. I'm a little bit more pessimistic.
Oh, thank you so much.
This is half black Justin Henley.
What's up,
Truth
Justin?
also requires a being because forces, physics, natural effects do not decide or choose. They react or follow determination. Personhood can decide to create. If you try to justify existence starting with a force, you are stuck in accidentalism.
Right. Accidentalism is the end all. Yeah. And by the way, even if you tried to argue accidentalism, you can't even determine accident without assuming purpose, that there's a target. You can't actually talk about accidents. Similarly, when I debated that PhD, Lord have mercy, that's a PhD guy. The same problem with function. You can't define function without purpose. It's impossible.
That, like Nietzsche said when he talked about the death of God, which we'll move into, it was not a celebration. It was not like God is dead and now we're going to run these totally just secular societies. He said God is dead, and in this vacuum.
Did Mike say the laws of logic are not 100% true and reliable? Well, there goes your statement. Gosh, you are really dumb.
What is coming is going to be worse.
Dude, if the laws of logic are not invariant and absolute and objective and unchanging, that you can't challenge them, then your statement that they're unchanged, that they're not, that is, we can't know that to be true. So why are you talking?
And I kind of sense a little bit of that more, that the rise of nihilism, the rise of meaninglessness and numbing behaviors and addiction and suicidality is...
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that, guys?
One thing to pay attention to. And then we've also got the rise of Islam and forms of fundamentalism that will fill that vacuum. And then we have political religions. The first thing that happens in the death of God is a political religion offering everything that God used to.
Yeah, and then a technocratic religion, right? And a transhumanist religion and a postmodern religion. and an empirical tradition that tries to substitute the holy tradition. They agree. I mean, she understands that there's a vacuum, but she keeps giving herself this position like there's some ethical duty to like stop people from offing themselves, you know, and then to stop, you know, we got to stop this depression. Why? Why should we do that is the question. You don't have an answer, and neither does Gingerbeard here.
Yeah. And you mentioned those 4 things that come in the...
No, the laws of logic are not 100% true in an absolute universal sense. That statement assumes that they are. You're in a contradiction. If it's true that the laws of logic are not universal or absolute, right? There are multiple logical systems. How would you know there's multiple logical systems without appealing to the truthfulness of the law of identity, you dumb shit? You dumb sack of soulless bile. You sludgy, pudgy pile. You dummy. You definitely deserve to be kicked out of society. That's what I'm saying. Like this mental illness, put them on an island. Get them out of here by force. So dumb. Landon says for $5, she's like a minxy reptilian person. God help me. May have missed it, but you read my previous super chat about CES, letter, and Mormons. I'll check it out. Let me see, Landon. Let me look at it now so I don't forget, in fact. Landon. Let me see, Landon. Have you read the CES letter? Might come in handy in your debate against Mormons. I think I'm actually not sure. I do have a really nice new book, though, on Mormonism, which I highly recommend. This, you guys, this is excellent. Small, compact, easy to digest. An absolute monster against the absolute monster of Joseph Schmitty. I think you can make a pretty good argument that if you hook up with this lady, you might be... Nice. That's funny.
Void. And I definitely want to talk about them more. I think maybe we should move straight into
Thank you, Unhitbone.
Your 10 points here. So,
Christian threats, just like the old days. What's wrong with threats, Hayden? I'm sorry. Are you purity spiraling? Isn't law itself a threat? Do you believe in law, Hayden? Wait, you believe in law, but you don't believe in threats? If you do this, this happens? Oh, that's interesting. I thought you were a rights guy.
You list these 10 things, and some of them are what you actually lose when you also lose God, and some of them are things that can creep up in...
Is it Mike Burgandy, maybe? That would be hilarious. What's Mike Burgandy? You know what? Enough with this boy. I want to actually check in on Mike Burgandy, see if he's developed anything. The guy who said the laws of logic are in your brain. Ah, that's great. Ooh, a dinosaur series. Ooh, are you kidding me? What is this, Christmas? The case for atheistic naturalism. Let's tear this guy apart. Let's tear this guy apart right now. Looks like a baby dragon. Arguments against theism. 6 reasons why there likely is no God. Not a likelihood claim. You don't have likelihood. That requires favorability and unfavorability. You don't have that.
There is no God. Here's why. First of all, atheistic naturalism explains everything that we observe in the world around us just fine without invoking God.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Do you explain something called explaining? Do you observe something called explaining, Mike? Just grants himself evidentialism, just grants himself descriptions and evaluations, laws of logic, meaning, information, math, knowledge, truth, mind. Just grant yourself that, Mikey, little Mikey boy. Yeah, just go out and get a free dish. I mean, it's just idiotic.
We can explain the origin of life. We can explain the...
No, you can't. That's a claim.
The origin of the universe. We can...
No, you can't. What are you talking about? You can explain that. What are you talking about? You can make an assertion.
Explain the origin of the earth and everything we see around us.
No, you can't. All you need is a little Jim Bob in the chat going, how? Apparently, the destruction of atheism is a single Native American syllable.
Without invoking God. You can take an internalist approach with Einstein's block model, in which there's just 4 dimensions of space and time, and it's infinite. Or you can take a more quantum approach with the Everettian model of quantum mechanics, in which there's a universal wave function. Our universe is simply a vector in a larger Hilbert space, which is infinitely dimensional.
How did you know that? Just how, right? How do you know that? Simple. No talking about it, just how do you know that?
The universe's operations are all guided by the way this wave function evolves with the Schrödinger equation.
Oh, so how the universe operates is guided by how the universe operates? That's really great, Mike. You're doing great here. The universe operates is guided by how the universe operates. I'm smart. Look at all these graphs I have.
So we actually have a mathematical mechanism for the origin of the universe.
Mathematics is not a mechanism, you dipshit. Mathematics is descriptive, conceptually descriptive. No number makes something happen, dude. Oh my gosh, I have to play this again now.
No.
Math doesn't cause things. Math isn't mechanistic, idiot. You are dumb. You need to leave the country. I don't want you here. Speaking of maturity, Mike, this is embarrassing. There's no mechanism called math, dude. I was watching Bob's Burgers last night, and a crazy lady married herself. It was for laughs, but got me thinking. That's the entailment of love is love. Well, that's already happening, Jordan. That's actually not even a satire. Thank you for the $5. Someone actually is... There are people who marry themselves. By the way, if they develop another personality, they could actually marry them and divorce themselves and marry someone else who's also them. Who authored this book? This is by Joseph Smith Jr. Just kidding. Russell F. Young. Russell F. Young. $10 from Andy. Thank you so much. Evo story time is my favorite part of the stream. We're proud of what we are. We are proud of what we are. Well, he's got a dinosaur one, so I'm really excited about that. Chicken pork, $10. Atheism can't answer why are you so gay. They can't help you with the sadness and loneliness in the void. Only Christ can fill the void of your life. To my fellow gay, stop it. Get some help. Yeah, get some help.
The theist doesn't. They just say God. My framework actually explains all the observable states that we see in space.
No, you don't observe any of it. Did you just say you observe all observable states in the universe? I can't. I don't know if I can make it through
time. But under theism, it can't. All you do is say God did it. There's no specified metaphysics there. So right off the bat,
oh, how did you get metaphysics? That's ironic. Did you observe metaphysics? How did you grant yourself metaphysics, dude?
Atheistic naturalism is far more parsimonious.
This is one of my attacks, by the way. Naturalism can't justify metaphysics. So you go, naturalism explains everything. Oh, doesn't that require metaphysics and philosophy to explain? Yeah. Okay, how does naturalism explain metaphysics? It doesn't. It just uses it.
Far more simpler and explains just as much, if not more, than what theism can explain, without all the added auxiliary nonsense that God comes with. Next is the antithesis of design that we observe in the world. We see...
Here comes the absence of purpose, accidentalism.
Our bodies, for example. Right? Theists love to point to how complex it is, but it's so gratuitously complex. It is...
What do you mean gratuitously? It's insanely complex.
So unnecessarily complex.
Oh, wait, so it's so complex that the argument from the theists that complexity and with function and intent, purpose, assumes some sort of intentionality, assumes a mind. He's saying, no. It's so insanely complex that arguing that it's complex is meaningless because it's so insanely complex.
That there's so
oh, man, the things you do to defend what you do at night, the things you say during the day to defend what you do at night.
So many points of failure in our bodies, so many ways that it could have been done simpler and more efficiently.
And thank you so much for your 20 there. Jim Bob, do you think the Big Bang Theory is very flawed? It feels devoid. Yeah, I think it's not even a theory. It's not a scientific theory. It's a narrative. It's like an assumption based on the interpretation of observation of light and movement. That's all it is. But it doesn't make any sense because the same problem Big Bang has is the one that exists in evolution, which is you grant yourself how things are, and then you try to work backwards from how they are to an arbitrary position in which you don't have to justify. And so with evolution is you grant yourself populations and you track back and you agree that populations come from previous populations until you get to one special population and special plead that the one first population didn't need a population. Special pleading. It's taking something in the same category and giving it a new status.
I love New York. Poopy jungle where cows are worshipped. You cannot eat pork in
That's
New
right.
York. I
can't
love
eat
New
pork in New
York.
York.
Mornings
love-
are filled with the call to prayer. Feces
New
in the air
York.
in New York.
Who's gonna make new, old school Frank Sinatra AI songs about New York, but just change them to complete Islamic words, where it's all in Arabic. It's all. What do they speak? They speak Arabic. That would be great. That would be great. Marcus, thank you so much with an H. Oh, here comes Vagine again. Vagine's got a lot to say today.
There is no universal interpretation to quantum mechanics.
Right.
Moreover, the Schrödinger equation fails at relativistic speeds, leading to the need for the Dirac equation, which fails in curved spacetime, leading to...
That's what I was going to say.
But it just wasn't. The fact that we can improve on our bodies with basic biology, right?
Improvement? I'm sorry. Another problem in your view. You can't have something called improvement from an accidental position.
Vaccines, glasses, and let alone
Glasses.
all the robotic parts and limbs and even robotic eyes that we've developed.
That assumes that it has function. Imagine designing an arm that mimics and models something that you don't think is designed. You're like, oh, a magnificent fake heart that you made. Does that have purpose and function? They're like, well, it does, but it's designed after something that doesn't. Did you get your new heart transplant? Yeah, good thing. We figured out how to design it with function and purpose. Really? So the fake heart has design and purpose, right? Improvement, efficiency, direction. Yeah. But the old heart that was natural, that didn't have any function or purpose, right? It was not a proper function. No, it didn't. Just accidental organ. Hayden says, Jim Bob's ignorance is matched only by his dishonesty. That's all platitudes. You don't have any arguments. You're saying nothing. Do you have anything other than a bumper sticker? Fuckhead. Please, Hayden, I'm open to arguments. That's not an argument. I could just say the same thing. Hayden's ignorance is matched only by his dishonesty. Well, that's a claim, so you're gonna have to justify your claim. What am I ignorant to, and what I've been dishonest about? Justify your claims. This is where you get into ban territory. If you make accusations against me in public and say I'm dishonest, that is to say I could be lying about something, you're gonna have to tell me what it is, or you get kicked off the island. If they stop eating pork in New York City, then maybe they will now have a purpose for rats. Ew, gross. Ugh. 3 more super chats for the goal, y'all. Thank you so much. By the way, if you want to support me in other ways, you can go over. Many of you are getting this book now, which I recommend getting so Meg Bob could ship it out to y'all. Go over to madebyjimbob.com. For those of you who are new here, maybe you came over from Rob, you don't realize that, yes, I am the guy who makes a lot of these memes that you see in this very crude style. You can get them not just online, but in a superbly ordered collection of volumes, 5, 4, and 3. Volume 2 and 1 are sold out, so you can't get those anymore. 3 is running out soon, and then there's fairly enough to go around for volume 4 and 5. I don't print these again, though, so this is the only physical books of my comics that are out there, and there is a deal on all 3. So go grab those for gifts for Christmas or gifts for yourself. Great way to support my channel, support me and what I do, while getting something awesome in return. And for those of you in the chat who have the books, they can tell you that they're definitely worth the purchase. So go
You're
grab
the
them.
coward that ran from Dirk by banning him. Dirk will call in every day to destroy your fake wannabe women's religion. Dirk Jensen PBH is truth and is come to tear down the false voices.
Okay.
Oh,
Dirk.
and its particle decay violates the laws of logic. That's what that entire video was about, that you still won't release because you're a coward.
What?
You're
What?
like the people in the Vienna Cafe conversations who simply are incapable of learning or even comprehending an argument.
What the
All
hell?
truth comes from resonance and attunement to the source, which
Really?
is the alpha emergence. There is
Really?
no causality in a pre-material plasma condition. That's post-Big Bang, so almost 380k years. And Lucifer, by the way, is not beneath your Yahweh, by any stretch. Did he cower before Jesus in the wilderness? No, he did not. You suck at guitar too. House of the Rising Sun sucks. You use a capo which shows you suck. Learn more chords. Dirk forgives you and blesses you because Dirk is humble. Hi Marilyn. Oh guys, blessings to you all in chat.
Oh, Dirk, you're so insufferable, man. You know what I mean? You're just so insufferable. I don't even know what video you're talking about, but no, you're a nonsense machine, Dirk. You tried to call in once and defend evolution. It was an absolute disaster. So no one should listen to you. You're clearly nearly schizophrenic. You're like one of those like wild manic gematria tards that just rattle off claims, and then you ask a simple question about one of the claims, and then you rattle off 19 more. I hope you get help, Dirk. I hope you get help. But it's not looking like you're getting help. Any help. It looks like things are getting worse. For the goal, based on the bones, thank you so much.
Based on the bones.
Developed that are far better than what our bodies can achieve. Under the fact that evolution happens, this makes perfect sense as to why our bodies would be so gratuitously complex.
Really, it makes sense that random mutation would produce highly specialized, interrelated, like compatible, but yet separate functions that do very specific tasks. Yeah. Oh, I bet it makes sense. Hey, listen, Mike Burgandy, if you want to debate evolution against me, let's do it. I dare you to accept my challenge. I dare you.
It's because
I dare you. I dare you.
Evolution doesn't care about optimization or efficiency. Evolution just simply cares if you can survive and have babies.
Evolution doesn't even care about that, you dipshit. Evolution doesn't care. There's no care in evolution. It's all pure accidental changes, right? That's all it is. It doesn't care if you survive either, dude. What are you talking about?
But under the design hypothesis, it makes no sense as to why we'd be so complicated, right? A good designer is somebody who can make something efficient and powerful, but simple at the same time. Next.
No, that doesn't follow either, dude. What are you talking about? A good designer, it has to be really simple? What are you talking about? Look at the shit we made. Look at the stuff humans made, you idiot.
Next is the fine-tune.
Didn't this guy get destroyed by Smokey Man? He did.
Tuning argument that
and Chase and me
backfires on the theist, right? The whole point of the fine-tuning argument is that the universe must have been tuned in a way that could allow for life to exist. It was constrained by physical constant.
No, we don't have to say it's tuned like there's an intent and a mind tuning it. You could just say from your view, Mike, that the likelihood, because you like to argue likelihood, that the likelihood of it, that the universe as we know it expanding from a singular moment, a bunch of unrelated matter, unrelated particular matter spread out violently across the universe and produced something that required preconditions. Hey-yo! We got books! You guys don't feel FOMO. Just get your books in. Don't feel FOMO. Look at those nice books. Man, those are going to look nice, nicely wrapped in Christmas wrapping paper. Thank you, whoever just bought those books, by the way.
But that's the entire antithesis of what God is all about. He's all powerful. He is beyond physics. He can control physics. And so God could make not only life emerge with any universal laws of physics, but more importantly, God could create a world where there's non-physical beings who have spirits and souls and can actually go through the same experiences we have, or if not even more different experiences than we have. And
oh, wow. How is that an argument, Dragon Boy? How is that an argument? God could have made this, and God could have made infinite beings and people who experience not being themselves, and blah, 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 blah. Certify, $5. That's got to be the stupidest argument I literally ever heard. It's too complex. Yeah, it's too complex. It gets too complex. If there's a designer, it wouldn't be super complex. Or no, it would be so simple.
So God could have created a whole heck of a lot more universes with non-physical beings that go through far more complicated experiences and far more enriching experiences than we do on this planet, who are constrained by physical laws.
How is that an argument?
If you do the basic math on this, you realize that God could have created far more worlds in which there are non-physical agents in there, right, experiencing different things.
Holy shit, this guy's dumb. I don't know if I can make it through. This is only a 7-minute video, and I don't think I can do it. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could make myself subject myself through it. I just rage quit. Why is he so gay? Why is he so gay? Why is he so gay? Why is he so gay?
The physical constants are the modern equivalent of star constellations. Physicists make up stories about how they came about.
Yeah, it's a big narrative story. It's a big story. Everyone needs a story, okay? Nothing wrong with stories. It's just say what it is. It's a story. It makes me want to go to church even more. Seriously. I mean, it's just so bad, all of it. I was going to look at his dinosaur thing, because that's kind of funny. How real dinosaurs are to these people. Oh, the dinosaur. By the way, you need a whole evolutionary view of how a dinosaur came to be. If you granted all of their visuals and everything they say, you'd have to have an evolutionary story for that, too. Cue Gary Larson's Far Side depicting God rolling snakes out from Play-Doh. Yeah. So crazy. Did he add background? He did. He added background music. It's like but it's weird background music. It's like the background music at the spas. You know what I mean? Like he's doing a YouTube channel from like a hot springs in Colorado somewhere. It's like God could have made anything. Hey. We reached the goal. Thank you so much for reaching the goal, y'all. And again, thank you for the support, whether that's donation, super chat, Bob chats, or books, which I highly recommend. Yep, just as I said it. Highly recommend buying these. Whoever just bought that, thank you so much. We will, all the books are signed, by the way, by me. I don't do a fake printed signature like those other people, because I'm the real deal. And, you know, you're going to probably recognize a bunch of comics. People don't realize when they come to this channel, because I'm so bad at grifting, that they don't know that I'm the guy who does those viral memes that they see everywhere. They're like, wait, that's you? And then they say something like, man, you were really good back in COVID. And I'm like, thanks. Oh, my mom loves your stuff. I wonder when I'm gonna get that. Oh, my mom loves your stuff. Probably will. Alter Void says, I'm surprised they don't just say one day there was a black hole and that shit out Earth. That's how it all started. They might as well. I was thinking about this. I still didn't get a good answer. If you hold an eternal universe, eternal matter, like the Mormons do, why do you say there was a beginning of life? Why can't life itself be eternal? I didn't get a good answer from Peterson on this. $50 for the book, $40 if they're signed by Jim Mob. That's cute, Hayden. Stupid. Hayden, are you ever going to call in and try to argue against the vicious Italian Chihuahua? They never do it, though. They just stay. They just get their little tension in the chat, and you give them huggies, and you give them a sippy cup, and you're like, here's an Ecto Cooler, here's a Game Boy. There. Go on. There you go. Oh, Hayden. Oh, little Hayden. Oh, little Hayden is a little bit of love in the chat. You know what else you can do, Hayden? Call your dad. You could just call your dad. I mean, half of you atheists, you don't even need to be in the chat. You could be talking to your dad right now. Cosmological constants have been changing over time, so the lab codes decided to arbitrarily fix them. Yeah, they just fix them. Why are you so gay? 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 Yeah. Why are you so gay? 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 Damn, I got another book sale with a note.
Thanks, Jim Bob. You keep me entertained whilst I do my construction work.
Good.
Jam out with your ham out.
Yeah, jam out with my ham out. Thank you so much. I didn't know you could put a note. Yeah. If you guys buy the books and want to give a note read by the wonderful Vagine, I didn't know you could put a note. Thank you for that. I'm glad I can help you pass your time. My son's really into that. I think I'm gonna send him into the BOCES, if it's still called that. He really likes like diggers and all that stuff. So I think that'll secure him some good income immediately if I get him in like 8th grade playing with like skidders, diggers, whatever. The rest, he loves that stuff. Don't go to college, kids. Don't go to college. It's bad for you. Who's this Mormon face? I think this is a dude. Do you guys think this is a dude?
I'll bet you never knew that when Dallin H. Oaks was called to be an apostle, he had never been a general authority, an area authority, a mission president, a stake president, a bishop, or even a missionary. President Oaks basically went from being a gospel doctrine teacher to an apostle overnight. So if you feel overwhelmed or unqualified for your calling, you're in good company. President Oaks had to quickly learn that God qualifies the called, and he can do the same with you.
Mormonism is so bad. Oof, that is rough. Woof, also. Jeez. What a dog show. Is that Dylan Mulvaney? He did the Book of Mormon, right? You know what? It takes no authority for having authority. It's just God arbitrarily taps you, and you're an apostle, and you're this, and you're that, and you're the president, and then you're a president prophet. And why? How do we know you're a prophet? Well, we just think God just tapped you to be a prophet. There you go. Okay, Adam's apple. Mormons. They're the worst. They really are the worst of it. Why are you so gay? Why are you so gay? All right, what else do we got here? What's happening on the Twit sphere? Destiny's still a thing? What is Destiny doing? I can't wait till that guy's just irrelevant, honestly. Honestly. He's got nothing. All right. That's a man, baby. Any other questions from particularly the atheists? I mean, I haven't had a call in, but it's just... I'm never pleased with call-ins. I don't know if you guys are. I know it's fun to, like, watch interactions or whatever, but I'm never satisfied with a call-in. I'm just like... That was such a waste of my time. No wonder Jay Dyer sighs so much. No wonder he just sighs the whole... It's a... Nick Fuentes says meat is overrated now. Oh no. Oh no. James Lindsay, notice they don't have the power or capability to accomplish this and never will. They only drive more leftist young women to the polls to vote Democrats. The repeal of the 19th Amendment. Yeah. Well, James Lindsay is such a coward. He's just a little...
Is it good that women can vote in America?
He's just a turtle. He's just a turtle. He has no arguments. He can't debate. He can't debate and won't debate. So here's a guy, probably some heretic, probably a Sola guy, but let's listen to what he has to say about the 19th Amendment.
Is it good that women can vote in America?
It's not even good that all men can vote.
I don't think so, and here's why. Nearly every legalized moral atrocity of the last 100 years was made possible by the female vote. Abortion and homosexuality would likely still be illegal if not for the female vote. Mass immigration in the welfare state rode on the backs of the female vote. Nearly every modern Democrat, including Obama and Biden, were elected because of the female vote. Even last night, the new Muslim New York City mayor, Mondami, won specifically because of the female vote. The 19th Amendment has been a moral and political tragedy for America, but why? Women were not made to lead, but to follow and to feel. This is God's design, and it's good within the family and the household. But emotions cannot be what is used to rule and govern a nation. Statistically and generally speaking, women vote for whatever feels most kind or peaceful or safe to their emotions. Women crave security and comfort, and whoever promises those things wins their loyalty. The problem is evil men know this, and they exploit it. For example, women are twice as likely to men to be seduced into an affair. They are 26% more likely to be financially scammed online. They are 3 times more likely to fall prey to psychics and tarot card readings and astrology and mediums.
Dirk. Shout out to Dirk.
Same emotional vulnerability that shows up there also shows up in politics. Many call it suicidal empathy. So I believe that we should return to the household vote, where women share their thoughts with their fathers or their husbands, and the men in their life make the final decision. Men are not perfect, but they are far more fit to rule with logic, and they are less likely to be deceived in political matters. So I don't believe that we should repeal the 19th Amendment because I don't love women. I believe we should repeal the 19th Amendment because I love America, and I love American women enough to protect them and our nation from their political exploitation.
Now watch. James Lindsay says this. Notice they don't have the power or capability to accomplish this. Well, no, it's totally capable. In fact, women, ironically, could hypothetically, even though it's like some weird, it's like a pseudo performative contradiction, women could in fact vote to have their vote go away. That's how they, hey, James Lindsay, are we forgetting how the 19th Amendment came to be? All right, do you need to be reminded that when the suffragette movement launched, that 95% or higher of all women rejected it? They didn't want it. And when they went to arrive at the referendums, the preliminary type of vote to determine whether or not we're going to follow through with this, the suffragettes, the ugly women who didn't have men, actually physically tried to shut down these women from showing up to vote against this notion, right? So it's like even historically, it's inconsistent. Now, what's funny about James Lindsay is if you look up there what he says, you're just going to drive more leftist young women to the polls. Yeah, demonstrating the problem. James Lindsay, that wouldn't be a problem if they didn't go to the polls. That wouldn't be a problem. Now, the what's funny is that James Lindsay and the rest of the classical liberals are defending the open wound that allows the infection in, which is liberalism. They defend the open wound and they say, well, no, we that's part of our goodness is the open wound. That's what's great about America. It's a giant open wound for anyone to come in and infect it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Liberty. Well, no, James Lindsay, this is why you wouldn't debate this, because you'd get completely wrecked on it historically. Even now, everything this guy said, notice everything this guy said wasn't even refuted or even mentioned, right? Not one person on that page, including Mr. James Lindsay, didn't address a single statement, proposition, or argument that man made. And yet he's going to defend the trend in which he's a liberty LARPer. He's defending a trend that can track the expansion of the nanny state, the daycare center governance system. You can track it exactly to women's voting patterns. Exactly. The expansion of everything James Lindsay doesn't like is resulting directly from the female vote. The numbers are very clear on that. And he's like, well, no, that's bad. No arguments. So frustrating. Game Caller says, I was reading an article on Orthodoxy site that features a priest arguing against Christian nationalism. His name is Father John Gillinois. My pastor is more based than some of the priests, apparently. Well, priests can have bad takes, Game Caller. That's irrelevant to Orthodoxy being true. There's liberal priests. People lean sort of like liberty base. There's, all sorts of priest takes. It's meaningless. But yeah, it would be true that there are some, you could find a based, quote, pastor than a base priest, but the pastor can't be more based than the priest, ultimately, only on a particular topic. A pastor, Game Caller, can never be more based than clergy on the grand scheme of Christianity. They can only be more based on particular stances, but it's irrelevant because a priest's opinion about, I don't know, climate change or something that you would think is like liberal, it's irrelevant to the doctrine. It's irrelevant to the truth of orthodoxy, the sacraments, the holy tradition, the authority, and the rest. It's just an opinion, so don't take it too seriously. Fate Fingers, $10. Maybe it's not as interesting for you, but my favorite conversations you have are with the people that mostly agree but questioning a point and want to pick your twisted mind. Well, fair enough, yeah. There's just less of them. There's just less of those people. Women are so embarrassing. Well, you're not ultimately embarrassing. It's like comedians are embarrassing. So what makes a woman embarrassing is when they're placed in a man's world. I don't even like drunkenness from a man perspective. I hate to see a slurring guy falling over in public, but it doesn't match, even closely match, when I see a woman in public, especially who's super intoxicated, slurring, leaning on things. That's the worst. It's always like a woman trying to be a man, and you're like, that's embarrassing. But it's just as embarrassing for a man to pretend he's a woman. It's all embarrassing. But when women are in their proper position and form, they are not, it's not even close to embarrassing. It's like watching my wife like kick ass as a mom and a wife is like, it's like it generates energy because of the purpose itself. Where like women, well, there's nothing better than that moment, right, where the man, and it could take years. It could be in their early 20s. It could be in their 40s, where they finally like set in to their role, and they start doing well. And then the woman, as a side effect, settles into their role because they naturally go, well, no, you're doing that. Let me get into my power position. And when that comes together, it's just so beautiful. It's actually reflective of liturgy being the people's work, the bridegroom, this active participation. But when you mangle it, when you mangle the roles, you can't have that synergy. It's all mangled. It's like, is this a democracy? Should we vote on who gets whose say? Who's the say in the matter this week? Oh, it's your week? I forgot, honey. It was your week to say what's right. I can't wait till next week when I have the reins again. Maybe we should have our kids, who are the citizens of this state, vote on who's the authority. Hey, children, get around in the room. We're having a family meeting. You guys get to vote on who's the ultimate authority. Gosh, I hope I win. Goodness, I hope I win next week. Eventually, women will let D-orcs come, just like New York. Dustin the Priest was arguing for I think I saw that article at Game Caller. In the end, it's just meaningless. It's like, the structure of the church, the dogma, the councils, the Eucharist, the sacraments, these are all things untouched by one or even a collection of priests sort of fetish around Enlightenment theory. It's just like, it's really not even worth looking at. It's like, oh, look, a priest had a position on that. Interesting. That's interesting. We'll keep an eye on him. You mean women thriving in their gender role is overwhelmingly respected? Yeah, even when they go out in public. You know what I mean? Like, there was a reverence for women. It wasn't that they were equal to men. It was that they had a very peculiar place in society that was influential and good for the world. And then they were like, hey, have you girls thought about being debaucherous, disgusting pseudo-men? And they're like, really? Is that liberty? Yeah, go out. Take the thing that you have leverage, the one thing you have leverage over, which is your body, that you're the gatekeepers of sex and marriage and children. Why don't you take that and spread it thinly over a lot of toast? Does that sound like a good idea? That's amazing. I want a lanyard. I want debt. I want to go to college for 4 years and not be able to afford paying it back until I'm in my late 50s, and then it's too late to have kids because I'm too tired and I'm swamped in bills. That sounds awesome. You go, girl. You go, girl. Uh-huh. Oh, nobody messing with you, girl. Uh-uh. You kicking ass, girls, and taking names. Oh. What did you fight for? You fought for the right to party. You fought for the right to leave work at 10:30 from a sketchy building in downtown New York City, where you're now in a position where you feel like you're equal because you're leaving work and you're a badass babe now. You're a boss babe. And you swipe your lanyard to open the elevator, and you have your own parking location with your name even. And then you're like, what the hell? There's a guy following me in the parking lot. You're like, yeah, you voted for this. Equality, remember? Don't you remember? Yeah, but now we're free. We went from being under the prison of the patriarchy, valuing our virginity, valuing our purity. And now we broke that down, and here we are with 1,000 sex partners and unknown itches from within our crotch region. Go, go, go. Let's go march. Terrible. Oh, we got a Cool raid. Thanks, Cool. Appreciate that. Thanks so much. Speaking of, has anyone been keeping up with the Tomato Lady drama? I have, and I looked at once, and then I was like, I'm done. I'm done with it. I can't do it. Question for Meg
Question
Bob.
for Meg Bob. Any female orthodox book recommendations for me to get my wife?
Is she like a reader? Because honestly, for women, I think orthodoxy, the experience of coffee hour and children and people and community is going to be more palpable and influential than a book. You know what I mean? Actually, speaking of books, I'm a part of the men's group, and part of it is you read a book and you kind of discuss chapter by chapter. It takes a lot of time, so that's good for me because reading, I'm better at listening to books than reading them. But this was the book, right? Living in God's creation, and it's about stewardship of the animals and the land. And a lot of times you think ecology and environmentalism, it's been mostly hijacked by liberals, right? So my first reaction is two reactions. One, it's a female author. I'm like, okay. But then it's like about ecology and taking care of the world, right? And there is a kind of truth to this that has been scoffed at because of the deep, quick association it has to liberalism and like all the rhetoric and campaigning. It's like it's hard to detach it from all of that. But I think it's important to, because I do have a view that's probably consistent with what hopefully is said in this book as I read along, is that we do have an obligation. We do have stewardship. We do have the authority to manage animals and manage the environment and manage all sorts of stuff, right? And honestly, I think there's an opportunity to hijack it back from liberal leftists, They're like, they're what do they call it? Bleeding heart. That bleeding heart feelings-based thing where it's like, well, if you want to talk about something that would necessitate a patriarchal sort of like authoritative position on things, this taking care of the environment in whatever way suits orthodoxy, I should be specific, you could actually take a patriarchal approach to this in doing it. You could actually take an authoritative position. But people like move away from it because of the association. They're like, ugh. Like, that's so liberal. That's the first dude, I had a visceral reaction to this. I was like, oh. Yap, yap, yap. Oh, environmental prattle. What is going on? But, you know, for any given issue, there is an orthodox lens to see it through. Even if you think the issue is like, oh, that's such a non-issue. Now, if we get into like climate change, I'm just going to not read it. I'm going to be like, I'll give snarky remarks even. I'm like, you guys are doing the thing. You going to bless an ice cube? Are you going to bless an ice cube next week? Should I bring an ice cube in? Is that what we're doing? You know what? Speaking of reading books, why read a complex book if you can read this book? Why read a book where you're like, oh, I'm thinking so hard? Why don't you read a book that makes you giggle on the toilet? Yes, I said it. Savage Memes Volume 5, 4, and 3 all belong across, eye level across from you in the toilet, on the toilet. This is where you're going to get the most of it, the bang for your buck. So go to madebyjimbob.com. It's going to be the first page that shows up. There's a deal for all three of these. And you're going to be very happy with them. So get on it. Because it's November and Megbob is, I'm signing and shipping them. Signing and ship. Get on it. Don't hesitate. So you're going to be like, can you overnight it to me? I just forgot. I forgot to buy it and I really want it for my sister-in-law. And you could just overnight it. No, just get it right now, dude. So I can send it out and not think about it. Anyway, what else? Where'd all my atheists go? I miss them. I miss you all. I just miss you so much. I feel like my purpose, I feel the fullness of my purpose when you guys are here. Even if there's just two of you, you know? It just feels so alone when my opposition isn't present. You know? And I know that sounds really codependent, you know? But I just wish there was more of you here with me. Not less. Matthew. Nice, Matthew. Hey, Matthew, have you been going to Divine Liturgy while simultaneously rejecting all of it? Matthew? Shout out to Matthew. Matthew's been here for, 4 years? Matthew? 5 years? He's the one who inspired the very first Prod on the Spot, which, by the way, I still have the scenes for. There's not a lot of them here. Another group of people that kind of go away because I'm too vicious. I feel like this chat's agreeing too much with you. Seriously, what is this?
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
Come on, man. Oh, James Lindsay, you suck so bad. Such a pathetic putz. Such a putz head. I'm supposed to be debating that. I think I scheduled it. Who is it? So, Candy Owens is now saying Tapussa did it. Do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see Candy Owens? Candy Owens. Man, I just hope she finds peace. There it is. That's someone who doesn't hesitate, who wants his Christmas gifts in before Christmas. Nicely done. Anyone else? You know who you are, where you're like, well, he's kind of right about that. I knew I was going to get them. I was planning on getting them, but I'm just going to wait until it's too late, and then I'm mad that I don't have gifts for my friends. So, all right. Let's see how Candy's doing. I mean,
of grief. The one they don't tell you about is when you get beyond all the stages, you've accepted that this person is not coming back, and then you just want to punch people in the face for lying about everything. I'm there. Everything they are telling us is crazy town, okay? I wake up and I learn something new and I get angry. I'm so angry, I'm taking it out on the team. I'm like, no, this does not make any sense. I can't explain to you why it doesn't make sense because I went through Turning Point USA, but every little micro change is sending me in this moment. It's a very personal thing. I know how Turning Point operates their events. Things that the world does not know, I have been privy to. And that's why I said, you know what?
Is this Made by Jim Bob toilet paper going to have available this year? The toilet paper is a great idea in Slave by Truth. I think the minimums for that, if I go full China, and then you're getting like probably not good toilet paper, but the minimums, I'm assuming the minimums, like for that to work, like I can't store, that's a lot of space. Like I have no place to store all that toilet paper. So if I make toilet paper, it's really funny. It's going to be really expensive toilet paper, low minimums, like, so there's only like 10 cases available. And it's so expensive that you'd be a fool to buy it and actually use it. But, you know, I'm still going to look into it, though. I should.
But let's actually scour through my emails. I was like, Savannah, let's just go back so that we can share these things with the world, that you guys can join me in my frustration of wanting to punch somebody, anybody in the face, okay?
It takes way less for me to want to punch somebody, by the way,
So yes.
It's like, what, your friend had to get murdered for you to want to punch someone? It's like, you're so behind. You're so 2005.
Yesterday, we had mentioned to you that the timeline.
John Parker says, you're an Orthodox priest. Wow. And I hope you know I appreciate your content and your zeal for bringing others to the church. God bless you, especially your family exposure of evolution. Thank you so much, John Parker. Oh, that's amazing. Priest in the chat. I always wonder about that. I'm like I get nervous. Like, I know it shouldn't be, you shouldn't feel guilty, but I just know that like online stuff can be really like raw, unfiltered, edgy. You know, like, you know, the way I talk and act wouldn't necessarily be how you'd find me in like fellowship. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that people can see the value of it. I'm always wondering if I'm ever going to get tapped by someone. They're like, listen, we're going to need you to stop talking about this. It's not good. But then I'm like, I'm not even bad. I just, you know, I call people retards. And I make fun of the bagel people.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
But I'm like, have you read, what is it, homily 1? John Chrysostom? Nobody wants to talk about that one. Just bought my mind. Oh, thank you, Former-esque. Thank you for that. Very generous of you. The only thing I could wish I could do is have found your channel when volume 1 and 2 were available. Well, I think there's like 2 more reserves of volume 1 and 2, but for safekeeping. There might be a time where I pin sort of like a really fun auction between, say, the most generous of the bunch, Former X, Jason Cassell, which I think he's like taking time off the internet. God bless him. And Silent, Majority. I'm missing one. There's the guy from Australia. And you guys can have a battle over volume 2 live. That would be fun. I did a live auction with a ticker. Live auction. Keep it up on the screen would be really fun. I should do that for Christmas. Meg Bob's the manager, so we'll see. Jorlandia wrapping paper, yeah. That's actually good. Toilet paper's funnier. But wrapping paper, I looked it up. Send me some, Enslaved by Truth. I'll do it. I mean, it's so dumb. But it's a good idea. You read a comic. Well, you need to read, like, without getting graphic, I mean, it's at least 4 sheets of paper. At least. I don't know, those freaks who have one sheet of paper for their business. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you, crazy? Wrapping paper is great. That's a great idea. Really good idea. Because it could be for birthdays and everything. Really good idea. I love it. Comes in a tube. I love it. Meg Bob, let's do it. Future is Islam. Get ready for the 5 a.m. prayer horns brought to you by Juice Corp TM. It's horrifying. If that starts happening where I am, I'm out. You know? I could tolerate and manage inevitable, quote, diversity in general. Even that has a limit to me. It's not even about the person. It's about the culture. It's about the culture. More like gay for Jim Bob. I guess. I mean, I guess I'll like that comment. Fiverr, can we hear Candace impression in a Whoopi Goldberg voice? She kind of talks like
It's
that.
absolutely absurd, okay?
Absolutely absurd. There we go. Another 3 in the bucket. These get signed, packaged, and shipped almost immediately by Miss Meg Bob herself. So get your orders in so you don't forget about them and we don't have to be piled up by the time December comes around. I'm still working on this other thing that I got to get done, which is the print. You guys know, the epic print every year. Boy, am I stressed and overwhelmed.
The absolute absurdity of Turning Point, as we learned, having received a request from Charlie, from UVU, for Charlie to...
I just can't. It's all so tiresome. It's like, get over it, woman. I know he's your friend and everything. It's horrifying. I couldn't imagine. But you need to get over it and stop yapping. You need to get back to family. You need to go to church, go to liturgy. I know you're Catholic, but geez. Do something, lady. If I were her husband, I'd be like, enough. Enough. Okay? Enough. Oh, this energy. Can you imagine she's done with this and you try to eat like chicken salad with her? She's all freaking energized like this. Like, ah. Thank you so much, Draco. Oh, shoot, too late. No worries. It all goes in the bucket to Jortlandia. I really appreciate you. You know what I mean? That energy? It's like it's a masculine energy, honestly. You gotta stop. You gotta calm down, lady. You gotta calm down. That energy, like, you know, you have a nice little snack with your wife. You know what I mean? Have a moment. Have some laughter. You know, nourish the chemistry. There's no, you know what I mean? That's important, you guys. Nourish your chemistry, your relationship, your sex life. She gets done with a stream, and her husband's like, can we, do you want to go, well, I'm sorry. I'm just wondering who killed Charlie. I'm sorry. I can't focus right now. I know we're in the middle of this and it's like really intimate and it's like, you know, don't get me wrong. I love it. What if Turning Point was, okay, hear me out. I know we're still doing this, but hear me out. What if the shooter crawled under the desk and through the tunnels and he's in New York City now with the Hasidics? Like, lady, stop. Ugh, stop it. I'd be done. I would actually, if I were a husband, I would actually set an ultimatum. I'd be like, you have to stop this, or there's going to be problems in our marriage, in our house, and in our general relationship. You need to stop this. Now. It's too much. This is a good post right here. I agree with this here. People all freaking out about Nick Fuentes, right? Well, dude, if you're these like soft conservatives who are like, oh my gosh, he said things, you can still disagree with what he says. But celebrating this, yeah, this guy's dead on. Eric Sammons, he says, to be clear, this is far, far worse for our country than Nick Fuentes saying naughty words. Yeah, absolutely. Look at these two. So gross. Showing you're showing two pictures of wombs that none of you guys are a part of. It's just like they might as well have an Amazon. You know what I mean? Is Amazon Prime going to turn into Amazon Primordial soon? They're going to deliver babies to the houses. Is that where we're heading? You know what I mean? It comes with like an AI voice. Stephen Hawking. Congratulations. Here is your delivered baby. Enjoy it, fat. Two daddies. Don't give them ideas. Oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna have delivery babies and delivery abortions. You get to choose. Here is your abortion kit. Directions are downloaded in the file. You know what would be good is shower curtains, Shortlandian shower curtains with all the different comics on the shower curtain would be good. Would be pretty good. I just had to stop my workout from laughing. Sorry, time code. That's why I put all my lives on private or unlisted right after, because it's every time. Every single time it just goes, and I go, damn. Got so far in my stream. I just couldn't not say it as Stephen Hawking, though. You know what I mean? The universe. The universe is 50 billion to 4,000 billion years old. Started from an explosion. Who knew? Stephen Hawking, who knew that he would not be remembered for his black holes and his weird voice, but rather for AI videos made of him crashing, figure skating, doing half pipe maneuvers and eating it. Who knew? Not even 5 years ago you would know that there was convincing AI footage of Stephen Hawking doing a whole variety of things. I mean, that's crazy. Like, we're entering this stage where faces of death are now customized. Where you're like, can I get Whoopi Goldberg in one? It's like, customize your own faces of death work accidents videos. You like, are you a live leak person? Well, we have an option for $12 a month where you can take any of the people at work that you don't like and import them in a faces of death video. Tired of your boss standing over your shoulder eating crunchy yogurt? Why not put them in a factory accident? It's weird, dude. I was listening to Tony, and he was having a talk with like Chrome AI. I wish I had the link. I would do it right now. There's like a Chrome one where it's actually unnerving. Because usually they like mess up, and you know it's just too obvious. There's the uncanny valley, but this one, they have like a natural, almost natural laugh when they talk, which is like idiosyncrasies where it's like they do like that. Like I've never seen it so far up until now where AI, the voice, did a natural kind of like, that's funny, like that. They'll be like, oh, that's actually pretty funny. They're not like, that is funny. The Chrome, is it the Chrome one? I should bring it up. I should have a debate with it, dude. Chrome AI voice. Where is it? Which one is it? Where is it? Copilot? Is that the Chrome one or what? Someone help me. Text to speech, AI assistant. Do I have to download it? I'll debate the crap out of it, dude. You kidding me? I'll wreck Chrome. Is it Chromie? Is that what it is? CROMI? AI voice assistant? Is that what it is? Does it matter? Is which one? Gemini? Does it even matter? Copilot? I don't know. Whatever he was using, I was like, I was horrified and impressed at the same time. I was like, damn. I don't know which one he was using. Maybe I'll set up a debate on another stream. I want to debate one on evolution, though, because I'm so tired of these people. They're terrible. There's no good evolution debaters. He was just arguing with ChatGPT. It wasn't Chrome. It was just basic ChatGPT. Huh. Okay. What is it? Tomfoolery debated an AI in a stream. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are doing it. New chat. Yeah, I don't see it here. New chat, ask it anything. I don't see like the voice one. I need to find one I can talk to voice. So I can hear the voice. I don't even know what to search. Voice? What is it? Someone help me, for goodness sakes. Jeez. Maybe I should plan that one. I'm going to plan that one. Because I can name it. I'll be like, epic debate. Jim Bob debates AI and evolution. Destroying him. Them. They. It. Destroying it. Think the voice one's behind a paywall? Wow, Tony, you've paid for that? What a bad boy. What a bad boy. AI chat app, Gemini, 25. That makes sense. I'll test a couple. How about that? I'll come back with a live stream that's fully titled Jim Bob Debates Defeats AI and Evolution. You guys tell me through emails and DMs and Discord what's the best one to use. So I'll ask Tony what he was using exactly. But I was impressed. I was like, geez, this is creepy. But I also want to debate you. You know what? If I can't find...
Did you see that a huge creator on Vegas Access Andrew was on last night challenged him to an Evo debate? He said yes, but told him to debate you instead.
I heard that. Thank you, Andrew, for that. For diverting him to me. That would be great. You know, I'd do that. Fly me out somewhere. I'll do a Vegas trip. Is it in Vegas? Yeah, I would do it. Debating evolution in Vegas, and then shooting, playing some craps with my wife. Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that was cool of him. Yeah, he doesn't. I wish he got into it. I know that's a little bit. It's one of those polarizing topics. So honestly, it's not the best relationship move. If you're like in the situation Andrew's in, he's now quite interconnected, right? A lot of overlapping bases and stuff. And it really is a polarizing topic because you kind of you risk looking really stupid. Even though what you're saying is not stupid, you do risk looking stupid to people if you deny evolution because it's so embedded in the fabric. It's like so expected that you just are like, yeah, no, I evolved from a fish. Yeah, no. You don't believe that? Oh my gosh, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. You don't believe that you evolved from something that you weren't? You're so dumb. How could you not believe it? All right. I'm willing to be the dumb one. That's for sure. I think it's one of the dumbest, stupid things I've ever heard in my life. I've heard a lot of dumb things. I've said a lot of dumb things. I've believed a lot of dumb things. Evolution is the dumbest. You can't even defend it. It's impossible to defend. Grok is 300 for a whole year just talking to somebody. Their badass model is 300. Dude, people are going to be buying their friendships. They're going to, dude, we're heading into a phase of these people that are going to develop these progressively stronger and stronger relationships with non-human talking people. And then what's going to happen is they're going to need the people, and then they're going to pay to have no ads. So they're going to have their people that they like, you know, these fake beings that they're starting a relationship with, to make it even more likely, more crucial, more urgent to pay off the ads. The actual character, the AI, is going to read the ads out of nowhere. They're going to have this deep conversation and be like, well, I'm really having a tough time with my mom. I'm really glad you're here to talk, dude. Blah, blah, blah. Man, I don't know what I'd do without you. And then the AI is like, I feel the same way. You know, it's been a long haul, our relationship. It's gone through a lot of bumps. And did you know that there's a new Febreze? Wait, weren't we just talking about something? Did you know there's a new Febreze? Make it smell nice. Do you smell nice? I don't like when you do this. It's like I just lose you for a second and you just go somewhere else and I don't feel connected to you. That's fine. You can upgrade if you'd like to upgrade right now. It's like relationship prostitution. I just sent you a picture of ChatGPT voice mode option, live react on to Discord. Okay, I'll use that one. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to set up my own stream because that's going to be funny. So I want that to be its own thumbnail, a picture of me with my fist raised against a phone or something. That'd be good. Anyway, I think it's time. I think it's time to say goodbye to all you people. I've done enough today. The damage has been done. I'm gonna send you off out into the internet world so you can figure out how to have your own fun. You can't stay here, but you can go to another place, another website, or a show. Terrible acapella. I'm usually better. Usually better with staying in the tune key. Not so good there. Stick with Tria. We should make Tria for sure. Over at Ortho Thugs, we had a skit where there was like a black, sort of big bad mama black woman, you know, caring mama. Oh, honey, like that. And all she does is positive gaslight you. It's like a different type of gaslighting. It's like, what do you call it when you compliment people? over and over again. Hey, buddy. Like that. It's like that. It's like pure fluff. You're like, I don't think I'm that good. And you're like, and it's like, oh, you're real good. I don't know, man. I feel really bad strangling my neighbor's cat. I just lost control. That's okay, honey. It's because you care so much. It's because you have so much love, and sometimes it comes out as anger, but it is love in the end. They just don't understand you. A flattery, yeah, it's flattery gaslighting. That cat didn't understand you. Jay is live? All right. Yeah, let's move along. I'm getting stagnant and stale. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to set up the raid over here. Thank you for everyone who bought the books. Again, this is the time to do it now. Buy your books now. Buy all 3. You get a super deal. They're all signed. No, Volume 1 and 2 are not available. They're totally sold out. I might do an auction for 2 leading up to Christmas. Maybe. Like live on stream, an auction would be fun. But you can get all 3 for a super deal. They're all signed. They're great. It's a great thing to have. By the time when they're gone, you're going to wish you had one because I don't make any more. I never reproduce the books, just so you know. And I get a lot of requests, by the way. Just so you know, I get a lot of requests. Oh, we're going to print it again. Can you make a document version? No. That's what the book is for. The book is for a physical thing that you have, so that I don't have to make a cheap digital book. That's stupid. So, who's DSP? Who the heck? What the heck? Oh, I want pizza right now. I worked out this morning, and now I want pizza. Bad. Not good. All right, let's check it out. What do we got here? Let's see. You snooze, you lose. That's right. You snooze, you lose. The Line, Breakfast Tacos, Dyer, Chrysalis Strangs, London Real, Unreasonable Man. Yeah. Open Calls, Jay. Dark Side Philosophy. Who's that? Dark Side Philosophy? I don't see that. DSP? Dark Side Phil? That doesn't even show up. That's not real. Pizza's a great diet food. I might go to there's a new Korean barbecue in my neighborhood, so that's well within my diet. Just pure meat. Just not eating bread and like sugar and candy and like super carby stuff. You know. Modern day debate. They got a lot of debates. Who's this? Grace Thorpe. No. That's not happening. Not happening. I guess you're just guys. You guys are going to Dyer. DSP. I don't see it. DSP. I don't see it. DSP. Raw Phil. Disco Music Club. DSP Restream. That's live. Is that what it is? DSP REEE stream? He doesn't allow it then. If that's what you guys are referring to. DSP Gaming. Are you guys trolling me? Huh? DSP Gaming is just a locale. I'll just send you to Jay. Enough of this nonsense. I don't like it. I don't like any of this childish behavior. I'm gonna sue you guys. That's it for me. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you all. Thank you for the generous donations and the purchases and the memberships and all of your kind words and even your oppositional words. You know, my challenge to atheists remains the same. Make sense of your worldview, bucko. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. Actually, I know you can't. All right. I need to eat. Love y'all. Bye, guy.